My boyfriend's ex is becoming a problem, and he's oblivious to it.
The classic boyfriend's ex is a problem conundrum.
My boyfriend and I have been together for 2 years. I love him so much, and I see a future where I'm married to him one day. He's such an amazing person, but is so oblivious. It's funny sometimes, frustrating other times, but sometimes just makes me really sad. I don't blame him for his obliviousness. It's just his nature. His parents and siblings are all the same way. He just doesn't get things.
It's the classic scorpion and the frog. It's simply my nature.
It's just his nature. That would be really... If I had a partner and they were talking about me this way, they were like, they're just oblivious. It's just their nature. I'd be like super offended. That said, he's not stupid once he figures things out. He's absolutely brilliant, but getting him to figure things out is tough. By the way, this comes from Simple Accountant, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. There are problems in our relationship, most of them minor, one of them very major. He's very aware of them. That's surprising. He makes it very clear how sorry he is when they come up, but he just doesn't understand why these things are problems and usually can't come to the conclusion of how to solve them without me spelling it right out for him and telling him what he needs to do. I really hate doing that. I often feel like I'm being controlling or guilting or manipulating him into doing things that he should already know how to do. So my boyfriend has survived a couple attempts through severe depression. He still suffers from depression, but it's amazing how much better he's doing today. This was before he met me, and he was in a long-term relationship when they occurred. His ex-girlfriend saved his life on multiple occasions, and for that, I'm so grateful. And it seems like that's kind of referring to self-harm, so I am going to put a trigger warning for self-harm for this episode. That said, I feel bad saying this, but that's just what any person who has any degree of morals at all does for something. I don't think that makes someone a great person. In fact, his ex is not a good person at all. My boyfriend feels that he's in some sort of life debt to her, and for that, will do anything to avoid upsetting her. This is a problem because our relationship upsets her. My boyfriend's ex is still in love with him. Yikes. All these years later, and constantly needs to be consoled over the fact that my boyfriend is now with me. He's consoling her? They all hang out with their mutual group of friends together sometimes, and I've never been invited. It's not even the ex that makes the call, so my boyfriend says, and I trust him, but usually they're mutual friends on account of the ex's feelings. One time, it was even my boyfriend making the call, which hurt. She is constantly texting him, telling him what a terrible person he is for being happy with me, trying to get him alone, and just seemingly trying to get him to leave me for her. My boyfriend understands that I take issue with this, but the way he looks at it is just so nonsensical to me. His logic is that she saved his life years ago, and therefore he owes it to her to be there for her and to help her get over him.
I mean, how does that make zero sense to you, though? Like, let's be honest. It makes a little bit of sense, right? If she thinks she saved his life.
I think that you can approach this in a different way. Well, I think that you don't have to be like, you don't know her anything. I think that you need to be like, she's not going to get over you if you keep hanging out with her. That's not how you get over someone.
Right. Logically, that makes perfect sense.
I've explained that going to hang out with her isn't doing anything about her feelings and is probably making it worse, but he doesn't see that at all. Okay, so you did try. Okay. The ex has no one else to talk to about her problems or her successes, so my boyfriend feels he has an obligation to talk her through her issues and be there to watch her succeed. It's weird. He doesn't understand how inappropriate it is to be hanging out with his ex who still loves him, especially when they hang out without me. It's important to note that as far as I'm aware, they have never hung out, just the two of them, at any point in our relationship. A few months ago, I had enough. The ex was calling my boyfriend all day, crying about how terrible it is that he's clearly happier with me.
See now, that's when you go, okay, well, I value my current relationship more than your feelings about my current relationship, so I can't entertain this. I can't help you.
Asking him how he can be so happy when she's so sad. Guilting him about how she was always there for him and that he needs to be there for her. I told my boyfriend that he needed to tell her to F off and be done with it. She's manipulating him and it's affecting our relationship very negatively. His response was that I have the wrong idea. She's just going through a hard time. She's truly happy for us and really wants to be friends with me. He told me that she isn't smart enough to manipulate someone. Seems like two apples from two separate trees fall pretty close together. My boyfriend says that the ex will go away eventually. He just needs to put up with her and be there for her for the time being. It's like holding a leash with a dog attached to it and like pulling it along and be like, the dog will go away eventually.
Yeah, but it's on
But you're holding a leash.
You're taking the dog with you.
Cutting her off is not an option to him because he feels it would risk their friend group. I don't understand how he doesn't get that he needs to cut her off. I don't want to be that controlling girlfriend who makes her boyfriend cut off his ex. I also don't want my boyfriend to resent me for being heartless or something. I honestly don't even know how he'd respond. The idea of cutting off someone who has been there for him through such a tough time is just a completely foreign concept to him. He is actually bewildered at the idea that people cut off toxic exes. What can I do here? I love my boyfriend so much. I want to make this work. When the ex isn't a problem, we have such an amazing relationship. However, I'm not stupid, and I'm not going to try and force a doomed relationship to work if that ends up being the case. It's probably important to mention that the ex hasn't been a problem in about a month, and before that, she was quiet for a month and a bit as well. That said, she's not been gone. She still messages him and such. She just hasn't been having fits or being noticeably manipulative. Obviously, I need to talk to my boyfriend about all of this, but should I bring it up on my own or wait to see if the ex causes a problem again? And there is an update, but what do you think?
100% bring it up.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Look.
I'm
Just take all the stuff that's outside of you and your partner out of the equation. Take her out of the equation. What do you want out of your partnership, right? Do you want somebody who respects your relationship over relationships or friendships with others, regardless of their context? Like, do you feel like you need to be put above all the others? Because if you do and he's not doing that, then you need to have that conversation. And if he's not going to change his ways, and that's how you feel, then you should, respectfully walk away.
Yeah, I think it's not obliviousness, because you've had the conversations with him. You've made him aware that you're uncomfortable with this.
Yeah.
So at this point, he's just willfully ignoring you. Regardless of whether or not he's oblivious to her motives, doesn't really matter because he's aware of your thoughts and feelings on the situation.
That's a great point.
Yeah. But there is an update. Hey, Reddit. To summarize my original post and what has been happening. My boyfriend and I have been together for 2 years, and it's the best relationship I've ever been in by a long shot. His ex is still in his life as they have both been in the same friend group since they were little kids. The ex is still in love with him and is constantly crying to him about that. She's obviously not a fan of me for that reason, and it's led to me not being invited to events with my boyfriend's friends if the ex is there. His ex did save his life a couple times, which I'm very grateful for, but he now feels that he owes her some sort of life debt and is obligated not to make her upset.
Which is valid and very complicated, but also not something OP has to necessarily work through.
Yeah, agreed.
That's his thing.
He spends a lot of time consoling her over the phone when she's sad. He was totally oblivious to the issues. He doesn't believe that she's still in love with him and thinks that she's just clinging to him because she's sad and lonely. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It really doesn't matter. Your partner's upset. When I would explain my issues with the relationship, he'd be very sympathetic to me and genuinely want to remedy the situation. But he just could not comprehend that she was still in love with him, trying to make him feel bad about being with me and trying to get him back. It was just ridiculous to him that she would do that. Because of this, the ways he should have remedied many of these situations just were not apparent to him at all.
Oh, he's just is he really just a little golden retriever guy? He's like, well, she wouldn't do that. She's literally going I hate that you're happy with her. You should be happy with me.
Yeah,
and he's
crazy.
like, oh, she's just working through it. She's really happy for us.
I just don't understand. Again, it really doesn't matter if she is in love with him or not. That's not the problem here.
it's complicated to a point, but it should get real not complicated when your current partner goes, hey, I'm hating this.
I'm hating this.
It should be like very clear what you do after that.
Yeah. A while back, my boyfriend's ex gave a speech for a nonprofit that she is involved in. This is when I found out that the nonprofit she's involved in is the same nonprofit I'm involved in.
Oh.
My boyfriend had helped her write this speech after they had broken up already, so she really wanted him there. Naturally, her ex said she didn't want me there. It wasn't something I would have gone to anyway because it was only for certain people in the organization. When she said this, my boyfriend told me about it because that upset him. He told me he'd skip it if I wanted him to, but I told him to go, as he did have a part in writing the speech and I didn't want to be controlling. Looking back, I kind of wish I asked him not to go. My original post has some great advice come in, and my biggest takeaway is that I need to be more assertive and show my boyfriend that his ex and the problems she brought weren't minor problems to me, but really serious issues that he absolutely needed to address and address properly.
Oh, we hadn't done that?
His ex hasn't been a problem in a few months now. She still expects him to console her, and he does to a much lesser degree, but he is a lot more serious about boundaries with her now and doesn't put up with her trying to make him feel bad about being with me or whatsoever. Shortly before I had this talk with him, my boyfriend had gone to a party his friend's girlfriend was hosting. The ex was there, and I wasn't invited, I'm assuming, due to the ex. As usual, my boyfriend was totally oblivious to why I might take issue with that. I was really upset about it and was planning to say something, but I never brought it up because after we had our talk, he told me he'd never go to a party without inviting me again. Now to today. I'm really not sure what to do if this becomes an issue again. That nonprofit my boyfriend's ex gave a speech for, she actually has been honored for it at an event next weekend. A lot of people are being honored for different things, including myself for a project I ran. I'm unable to go to this event, unfortunately, due to a work obligation. My boyfriend wouldn't be going because he'd need to be the guest of someone involved in the organization. This might be me worrying over nothing, but I really think that his ex is going to invite him as her guest because he helped her so much with the speech. I would be so upset if he decided to go, but I'm not even sure if that's reasonable. Does it make sense for him to go to the event when I can't? To see his ex being honored for a speech he helped write? I don't even know. I feel like that's a deal breaker, but I love him so much. I can't bear the thought of ending things with him. I'm just not willing to let myself be disrespected. I'm not even sure if that's disrespectful.
Oh, it is.
By the way, you know what's never disrespectful? Listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search Poke Storytime.
That's right. I mean, it could be disrespectful if you listen to them and go, ugh, gross. Ew, I hate it. But we know you won't.
Yeah.
We know you'd never do that.
I think the important thing here is that he did promise to never go to a place without inviting you. And I don't know if he meant that in a way of like, I will invite you, and if you can't make it, I'll still go. But at least I've invited you, or I'll never go to a place that, you know, you can't go to. I'm not quite sure what he meant there.
Yeah, I think it really needs to.
But I think you need to like figure what that means to you. Like, what do you mean that? Do you mean that he can never go somewhere that you can't go? Not saying that you do. Do you mean that he at least needs to invite you to something? Do you just not want him to go to events where his ex is at? You have to figure out what you want and tell him that. And then if he says, I'm going to do it anyway, maybe you guys aren't a fit.
It should be a basic principle that, like, your ex-girlfriend saying that I hate that you're happy with another woman, like, isn't like she's just working through some stuff. It's like, she probably shouldn't be working through it with you.
Yeah.
The ex-boyfriend, my guy. So
agreed.
Let a professional take over that responsibility. It's not yours.
Secondly, at the end of this month, one of his friends will be having a going away party. It will be all of his old friends there, including his ex. My boyfriend hasn't mentioned us going. He's only mentioned the party itself. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and assume that he'll bring me. But after being left out because of the ex before, I don't even know. What if he's told by the party host he can't bring me? Should I expect him to not go? Yeah, I think that if a party host is telling him that he can't bring his girlfriend of 2 years to something, that's disrespectful. Why would you even want to go to the party?
Right. I can't imagine people are really doing that either.
I would hope not.
It sounds like nonsense.
I don't want him to miss his friend's going away party, but he promised me he always would bring me to his friends' parties. I really, really don't want this relationship to end. I will do everything I can to make it work, but I'm not going to deal with disrespect and broken promises. At the same time, my boyfriend can be so oblivious sometimes and might not even realize what he's doing is hurting me. I also don't want to hold him to his promises to a crazy degree. Like if the host of the going away party says I can't come, but he has a totally valid reason that doesn't have anything to do with the ex, would he still be in the wrong for going? Honestly, yeah, I think if the host of the party says you can't come, he would be in the wrong for going because they're disrespecting his relationship.
Yeah,
Why would he even want to go to that party?
At some point, he would have to go, who do you want, me or my ex? If she can't handle the fact that I have a girlfriend, that's not on my girlfriend.
Exactly. How do I make sure my boyfriend is respecting boundaries and me while making sure I don't become a crazy girlfriend? Communication.
Well, no, you've got a crazy boyfriend.
You got a crazy boyfriend.
That's the thing. It's why we're so worried about optics.
Yeah.
Forget the optics. What do you feel? What do you want?
What do you feel?
Just base all of it off of that.
Your boyfriend's not listening to you. He's not oblivious. He just isn't listening.
I discovered my fiance's X-rated past, and I don't know what to do.
Maybe you should like watch it. That might be fun.
My girlfriend, now my fiance, has kept a rather important secret from me, which I discovered at 2:30 a.m. this morning, and now I'm scared, lost, and confused. This will take some explaining, so I'll break it up into chunks. Here is the backstory. By the way, this comes from my other me, and if you want to go submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, our wonderful relationship. We've been together for almost a year, and it has been completely blissful. I love her more than I've loved anything, and from what I can tell, she really loves me too. And I try really hard in this relationship, not to the point that I'm possessive and controlling. She has as much freedom as she wants. I will always make her a cup of tea when she needs it, cook her most of the dinners, roll her cigs in the morning, meet her whenever and wherever she wants. Will always listen without butting in, excuse her occasional laziness around our home, and do most of the cleaning without being a wiener about it. I earn quite a bit more than her, and I generally pay for things, and I've been doing this to help her get on top of her student debts and stuff. Sounds like he's doing a lot. I am worried about like the imbalance of work in the relationship, and like her not maybe like he's doing most of the chores and bringing in most of the money. I don't know.
I mean, hey, maybe he's your man who likes to provide.
Hey, and if it works for him, that's okay.
But
it
be
does
that
worry
guy.
me a little bit. But let's see. So, most of all, I respect her. I think she is a truly wonderful and strong woman. We're both pretty serious feminists. You get it. I'm the perfect effing boyfriend, jokes, but I really do try to be as good as I can for her. I just like doing it. It makes me hurt with smiles when I do something special or even just a bit thoughtful, and I can see her appreciating me. We have never had any arguments, really, only minor disagreements. Neither of us have ever raised our voices with each other or been violent in any way. This is pretty great considering the intensity and speed of the relationship. We hate spending time apart and haven't slept in separate beds since February 13th. I know it's sad that I know that, but she does too, and we giggle unbearably when either of us mention it. It sounds like you have a cute freaking relationship.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys are cutie pies. Where does it go
wrong?
Waiting for the shoe to come and drop.
And oh my God, don't even get me started on the spicy sleep. It's amazing. She gets my spicy hobbies and I get hers. We have spicy sleep often, and it consistently is incredible with multiple moments all around. We rent a flat together, own a cat together, are spending Christmas together, getting married in June, and after that, planning to move to New Zealand and having kids.
They must have learned your meditation technique.
Quick okay story time. I learned to full body orgasm on a meditation retreat like a while ago, and I did it on the plane on the way back here.
I bet that was fun for everyone.
I don't think they saw.
Yeah, like they didn't see because I was
They
they didn't see because I was under the blanket, but they definitely heard.
Anyway, it's not like, there's no omission. It's just
it's
the
not
feeling of it.
like that. It's
not
just
like that.
full euphoria.
It's just full
throughout your
euphoria.
body.
It's like being on Molly. Anyway, neither of us are new to this relationship business or feel like we are rushing. We have both had a couple of serious relationships in the past. I was engaged to a girl for 7.5 years, and she was engaged to a dude who didn't really treat her very well, as long as her having a lot of fun while she was at uni. How I know what I know. Okay, so that is the background. Now we're getting into the uncovering of this spicy X-rated truth.
Let's freaking get our shovels
Let's
and
get
our
our shovels.
pickaxes.
Back in April, I was laying in bed watching my beautiful significant other get ready for work. I asked if I could look something up on the internet using her phone as my battery was dead, and she agreed. I unlocked it and saw a strange message from a man using only his initials in the text saying, "Looking forward to seeing you again later today. I'm at the Apex Hotel. I'm in room whatever."
No way. He can afford the whatever room at the Apex Hotel.
I scrolled up to get the context and couldn't make sense of it. All I could see was that they have met before in hotels and have a long text history. To be perfectly clear, that is generally how I saw the message. I'm not a snooper. The previous time they met was at a hotel in London in February when she told me that her and her best friend Jess, not a real name, were going to an opera and she was staying with her friend, and she also had some freelance calligraphy work down there. This is something she said she used to do before we met and has not traveled away for it at any other point in the relationship.
A lot of calligraphy work.
I freaked out thinking she was cheating on me. I hadn't pieced together much of anything then. All I knew was a friendly man meeting my girlfriend secretly in a hotel. When I brought this up with her later on, instead of stalking her and calling the number of the guy texting her, I might add, she said that I have completely misunderstood the situation. She used to do some free proofreading for a human rights lawyer, and from time to time, he asked her to help him out on the cheap, and it's apparently very illegal, and that is why she didn't want to say anything.
Stop. That is such a lie. Stop it. Stop. That can't be true. If it was that illegal, there'd be no record of it in your phone.
She explained that that was all London was, and that the dude had paid her well and given her a gift because they go back to when she did an internship with him while she was at uni. I told her I would have understood, but she needs to understand why that freaked me out, and just asked her to be more honest with me in the future. No shouting was done. I felt a little hurt, but put it in the back of my mind. Besides, it was cool that we scored a few £100 and we got a pizza. Cue a couple of months later. Same dude, similar situation, different hotel. I found out this time because I was being a bit playfully nosy while she was using her phone and snuck up behind her saying, "What you doing?" or something like that. I saw enough in those few seconds to know what was going to happen. I asked her about it, got a little upset saying I asked her to just be honest about this in the future. She said she was going to tell me, but it just hadn't crossed her mind. A couple of months after that, her friend Jess moved up to our city. Jess is cool. She's a cool lady, and they got along really well. I had suspected in the past from hearing bits and pieces that she was an escort, which made me rethink my lovely lady's rendezvous with a mystery man for cash and the way that there seemed to be some weird unspoken history between the two, but I put it to the back of my mind. You're putting too much to the back of your mind, sir. Your head's going to go like this. It's just gonna fall over. You're going to be like a turkey staring at the sky, and you're going to drown.
I'm just astounded he's believing these lies.
Yeah.
Like there's people out there who believe that.
Yeah.
She's literally texting the dude as you in real time in front of you, and then is going, "Oh, it didn't cross my mind that I needed to tell you about the guy I'm currently talking to right now. Oops, it just didn't cross my mind. It would have crossed your mind instantly."
Kat said she is so full of crap. Yeah, I agree. I tried to give her a few opportunities to say if something was up, just asking generalized questions when we had been talking about spicy sleep work and that. We have lots of interesting political-ish discussions, and she said nothing. After a short while, she finally explains to me that Jess is in fact an escort, and was I still cool with that and her? Of course I was. She was still Jess, the good friend of my fiance, who had been nothing but nice to me. Who am I to judge? I even gave her another opportunity in the nicest possible way, whilst having a walk saying, "Be honest. Have you ever done or considered doing escort work?" She laughed and said, "Of course not." She didn't think she'd be capable of doing it. And now we got the climax.
Everyone's favorite
big
part
O.
of the escort experience.
Of how I know for sure. I overheard my lady and Jess talking about something at a party whilst a bit wasted. I didn't hear much, but I heard them talking about a Stan, not his real name, and an initial, not S, in the same breath. The same fake name and initial combination going on in the messages I once saw. There was mention of some problem, something about remembering, and I thought I heard that he was going to be coming up. This all happened on Friday. I didn't want to be the paranoid boyfriend. I didn't want to just start answering ridiculous questions again. I just sat on what I thought I heard and tried to be skeptical and rational about it. Every time I went over anything in my head, I remembered how she acted slightly strangely with her responses, and I thought at the time that could be a sign of lying, but I wasn't sure if I was just remembering this wrong. Finally, after going a bit quietly mad and not wanting to bring things up again, we were up late watching the U.S. elections last night. We live in the U.K., both hoping the Americans would do the right thing and re-elect Obama. She fell asleep, and I was staring at her phone with all of this crap going on in my head. So I did something inexcusable.
Wait, so this is 2012?
I think so. And I opened it and went through her messages.
I honestly feel like that switches up a lot of the context of this.
Why?
Well, at least in terms of like modern like sentiments and like popular culture. I feel like there's a huge difference between like house, like
Sex
doing
work
like
is viewed
sex worker
now
escorting, like
versus,
then
I mean, because like
versus
OnlyFans
now.
girls and like the popularization of it. Yeah.
Right. It's
Okay.
it's become way more like, I guess,
Mainstream.
tolerated or mainstreamed or whatever you want to say. But which it's, to be clear, it's fine to do
Yeah.
that stuff. Like, it doesn't make you a immoral monster
No.
or anything.
But it's also fine to not be okay with that in a relationship.
Sure.
And also not, but I don't think it's fine to do that secretly while you're in a relationship.
She's
with the
lying about
expectation.
it on purpose, and she's
being
probably doing
in
it
a
because it's
monogamous
ruined
relationship.
previous stuff.
So I feel awful for this, and I don't handle guilt well. I saw messages from Jess about this Stan guy where she said that the hotel she was taken to in London recently with another client was really nice and quite a lot like where Stan used to take them. That Stan was going to be about in our city soon. I saw that Jess at some point in September had a companionship job with a couple really rich guys where she just hung out. Did she want to go with her second time round? I know you are spoken for, but I thought I should ask. And they weren't expecting anything, well, at least not the previous night, but things might change. And I will obviously give you cash for this. And I froze and felt sick. She replied saying she wasn't sure if she would go, but then said, only if you come round and help me dress up. I checked out the dates and that this went on, and I honestly think she didn't go ahead with this. I can't remember exactly what we were doing that evening. I looked further through her messages and read the single message on her phone that was there by Stan addressing both my fiance and Jess by their initials, saying he was going to be around. They should meet up together again like old times and maybe this time try something new. She hadn't replied to this message. I don't know what to do at this point. I was guilt-stricken because I couldn't trust her enough to not go through her phone, but at the same time distraught about the whole escort thing. I woke her. I couldn't do anything else. She seemed mad at me for going through her phone and got very pissed off. I apologized a whole bunch and properly broke down with the stress of it all. I didn't ask her right away about everything because she clearly wasn't in the right mood to discuss it. She said she was angry and tired and wanted to talk on a clear head. By this point, I had already sobbed a whole bunch and couldn't have made it any clearer to her how sorry I was. I mean, yes, you did something wrong by looking through her phone. Like, that breaks the trust of the relationship. But also, like, there was a lot of evidence that you had beforehand that you ignored. And
yeah,
I
like the
think-
most ridiculous lies I think
Yeah.
ever that I've heard.
Yeah, and like
Well-
Amy Lynn says something I'm thinking. I'd be distraught that she lied more than anything. Like, is that not? Are we not going to focus on that at all?
That's what I'm distraught about.
I'm distraught about that a lot. I feel like he's so in love that he's not even registering that he should be mad too. She said that she was also hurt because I had been keeping this to myself instead of speaking to her, and whilst doing that, telling her how great everything is. She thought I was being insincere in what I had said. I explained that I genuinely meant the nice things I had said, and there was some cognitive dissonance going on. When any specifics came up, she was reluctant to say anything too specific. We talked it through without actually really mentioning the whole escort thing to a point where we're both saying we love each other and we both want to try to make it work, and it sucks. I was scared she was going to leave me. There it is. He is not acting in his self-interest because he's too scared of being alone.
Fear.
Fear.
The best
Fear.
things in life are on the opposite side of fear.
Oh,
You can't get to the good gooey gumdrops if you're all mired in the fear swamp. All right, you got to get out of the swamp
You
of
gotta get out of the
fear and eat up those. Yeah, you know what I mean.
you know what he means.
You know what I'm saying. Mike's way.
I asked her if we could still talk about the escort thing when things were more calm, even though I had betrayed her trust, and she said yes. You're being too apologetic here, dude. We have canceled our cinema double date tonight to talk about it. We finally went to bed, and she opened up a bit and said she didn't go ahead with that paid date and then whatever job because she would have felt icky. The fact that she considered it and got back to Jess is enough to upset me. She still wouldn't talk about the hotel meetings, though, and remained vague. She repeated to me that she hadn't cheated on me, though.
Right. No, officer, that wasn't me. I didn't rob the bank.
I'm just working. It's not even sex. It's really not even sex.
I didn't cheat on you. I got paid to do this.
It's not like I wanted to do
I
it.
gamed you, dude.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I remember so clearly her story of her London trip changing with each bit of information I gave her about it, what I knew, and how odd I felt. The really upsetting part is that it is my birthday very soon, and we were going to go away for the weekend, starting with a gig. She became quickly reluctant about this, about the time the message from Stan came, saying she wasn't sure if she could get the time off work to leave early enough, and seemed weird when I said I didn't care. I'd pay for her train down, and we could meet after the gig and have our weekend then.
She's like, dang, he had a solution to that problem?
I want to go meet with Stan.
No, I'm suddenly indisposed.
Bug says, bro really said, can we please talk about the escort thing? Like, he's being so accommodating for something that she's so obviously transgressed so many boundaries in the relationship.
Right.
And he's the one apologizing. Like,
yeah.
This man has absolutely no backbone in the relationship. Like none.
Yeah, it's just he's living in survival mode right now. It's like, how do I make sure the relationship stays alive? And it's like,
I thought
this was gonna be some cringy beta story about being like, oh, my girlfriend's had sex with someone else before.
Yeah,
but it's like, I think your girlfriend actively was getting paid to sleep with other men while she was with you, which is a big deal.
That's a big no-no. Call me old-fashioned. Call me old-fashioned. Maybe I'm still back in 2012. Yeah, but I don't know if I would be down for this.
Yeah, it's feeling like a big red flag, brother.
Big red flag. Well, this weekend, exactly when Stan is in town, she still has one of the days off when we are not away, but I am working, which was the suggested date by him. You know what? I think I could forgive her, but I don't know if I'm being a fool. Dakota, is he being a fool?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
What?
What?
You don't think he's being a fool?
Oh, I must have. I didn't hear that right, did I? Can you say that one more time, please?
Do you think he's being a fool?
But what he is forgiving her?
You know what? I think I could forgive her.
Oh!
But I don't know if I'm being a fool.
I heard the negative of that. See, I heard not forgive.
No.
Not forgive.
Fool!
Fool!
I still love her, and our relationship has been practically perfect, except for this. This is a big except. She stresses a lot about money thanks to 2 student loans and an old flatmate leaving her in more debt, so I can see why she would do it. She gets upset that I pay for most things and has said to me on a number of occasions that she doesn't want me thinking that she is taking advantage of me. I don't. I just want to help herself so we can get on with our lives together and not have to worry about past debt. If there were truly no feelings attached and it was just a job, I could be accepting of that, even though I wouldn't ever want her to continue doing it. The biggest thing I feel is betrayal. Yes. You should feel betrayal. She was lying to you. She broke the integrity of the relationship. You could be okay with her sleeping around. I am down. All right. I think 2 people can establish any kind of relationship they want. If they had talked about it before and she's like, hey, you have your job as an escort. I'm cool with that. Thank you for telling me before we get into the relationship. Keep going about it, And if that was communicated, that would be fine. You can create any kind of relationship dynamic you want. That's the beautiful thing about relationships. But what you can't do is you can't have a lack of integrity. You can't have lying, right? And yes, you should feel betrayed, but you should grow a backbone and realize that the integrity of this relationship is gone. It is not a simple thing to just say, oh, it's just this one thing. It's just this one lie. No, it is a big lie that compromises the entirety of the relationship.
You're like, oh, this house is so perfect. Look at this beautiful beach house. It's got 5 floors, 800 million square feet, and they're giving it to me for free. Oh, wait, the foundation is made out of sand.
And as soon as I step into it, it will collapse.
It's going to crumble and fall upon me.
Or maybe they just need to read
this
Secure,
book.
And maybe it'll all be okay.
Actually,
Shout out Keon.
just read Secure.
Oh my God, dude. I mean, Keon, is it like what do we tell this guy to come
Brother,
to
where
his...
do you think she learned those moves?
Oh, no.
Ego.
Uh,
So are you sure you don't want to watch?
See, these
Are you sure?
I think, dude, this man has brain. He is so caught up in the amazing sex fog that, and I've been there, brother. It is a dangerous,
Sam, you've done
world.
that?
No, but
What are you talking about?
the sex brain.
None of us won the lottery that lets the one person per year have sex.
What?
That's how that works.
There's a one year per
Why is he
sex quota.
acting like he doesn't know what the lottery is over here, dude? This guy's crazy.
But we got a little bit more to this story. But brother, get out of the sex fog.
Brother,
Ugh.
brother,
Not telling me straight up, even before we started getting really serious, even when I gave her a number of opportunities framed with the sincere phrase, I wouldn't be angry with you. My question, what the F do I do, Reddit? I am lost. This relationship means everything to me. She seems so honest. And sincere in all the nice things she tells me and tells her friends. They all get on with me really well and are so lovely to me because she truly does speak highly of me to everyone. How do you know? Which means she really cares, right? I don't think any of her friends know about any of this. And though Jess is a good friend, they are not BFFs or anything. I needed to write all this down just to help me process this. I'm sorry it's so long. I'm typing this while shaking and choking back tears in my office at work, completely unable to get on with anything. By the way, you should get on with full episodes with stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app. Search OK Storytime. There's another relevant update. But before we get into this final update, what do you think OP should do? OP is asking, what should I do? What should OP do?
Dude, OP, you literally said at the end, you're like, I'm barfing and pooping. Like, I'm like completely losing my cool. I can't
marbles.
even move through my life. Yeah, brother, I think you got to walk. You got
walk.
betrayed. You got lied to. Like,
You got
in
to
a
build
way
that spine and walk
yeah.
with your head held straight.
I think, lesson, you're like, this relationship means everything to me. That was your direct quote. Hey, maybe don't put all your eggs in one basket next time, buddy.
Also, the relationship that you thought you had is not the relationship that you have.
Exactly. So it's like that really,
It
the
doesn't
relationship you thought you had is what means everything to you, but you don't have that anymore.
Yep.
So you actually,
It's gone.
you got to start grieving because it's already gone.
But let's get into the final bit of this story. How should I approach talking to her? She doesn't do arguing well, so I don't want to be on the attack. Otherwise, she will end up being on the attack or become so upset that we won't get anything sorted. Again, noodle spine. I hate conflict so much. Noodle. How can I make it up to her for reading her messages? I guess my biggest concern is that she has had some emotional problems in the past, and I really don't want to trigger another downward spiral in her. Whatever happens, she's been good and pretty consistently happy since me, well, at least on the surface, but she has been to some dark places mentally, and I just don't want her to return there. I love her. Just effing say some words, Reddit. I need something right now. Thank you so much for being there. And we have a really important edit message.
Wow, I wonder what that's going to say, dude. Dang, you're lost in the sauce,
He's
man.
lost, dude. He's
Fully
asking the wrong
lost.
questions. V-Rod says, how can she make it up to you, dude?
Right.
What the F? What the F?
Right, like you
Undo all those
you
guys.
are operating from a position of like, why are you the one responsible for everything wrong and bad that has happened? And you're not responsible for how she's going to emotionally react to your truth that you feel betrayed and that this probably isn't going to work because you are barfing and farting all day over how emotionally turmoiled you are.
Yeah.
Like,
dude, this is bad. This is
come
bad.
on,
And
dude.
it sounds like she's never taken accountability for anything in this relationship.
Zero. She's
Zero.
still lying, bro. It's my
Amy
lawyer
Lynn,
friend, and it's actually really illegal, so I can't have it, but I never told you.
Amy Lynn says, OP1, get tested. And 2, you are focusing on the wrong betrayal.
Correct.
Amen. But we got an edit.
Really important edit message.
A lot of people are saying that she is sleeping with loads of guys behind my back.
Loads.
She's taking some loads. I really do not think this is the case. If anything, I believe it is an old client or something. I spent enough time with her and know her work friends well enough to know with some confidence that her sleeping with a ton of people isn't the case. And comments. She lied to you about being a spicy worker. She lied to you about being a spicy worker. She lied to you about being a spicy worker. Are you effing kidding me right now? Get tested. Figure out if you can live with this Airbus A30 of a lie. I personally would be out the door well before I thought about writing to Reddit to help. Holy crap, dude. She lied to you about being a spicy worker, and you were asking how you can make it up to her? Another reply. OP, please listen to this. I've seen a ton of guys just like you, insecure with low confidence, and girls like this. They prey on them. They come in with whirlwind romances and give you everything you want romantically and spicy sleep-ily. They make you believe that they are your whole world and you are theirs. In the end, it's a lie. On the scale she's told you, it's very evident that she's pulling a scam job on you because instead of apologizing profusely and telling you the truth, she made you feel guilty. You're begging to stay with someone who was dishonest with you about a very huge issue from the get-go. I also would like to point out, so these guys, she's being paid, to sleep with, right? I think on a larger level, you are paying her lifestyle and she is trading that in this. I think she doesn't love you as much as she's saying and is just using you as a meal ticket and to fund a lifestyle.
What? No, wait.
No.
The liar can lie?
The liar can lie?
The liar's gonna lie about more stuff?
Yeah, it could be lies
Dude.
about you.
Get out of town,
I know.
brother.
I
I
know.
can't handle that level of insanity coming from you.
Now, instead of feeling remorse, she shifts the blame on you. It's very telling where your self-esteem and confidence has been at this whole time because you feel like you need to fix things. It's not your fault. Comment 2. Well, seeing as how you are considering forgiving her for this, you don't seem to have a problem with the idea of your girlfriend as a spicy worker. But the betrayal you speak of is the fact that she has been hiding it from you. She has been lying to you over and over for your entire relationship. What does this tell you? It tells you that she will lie, deceive you, trick you, do whatever it takes to make herself appear to be the kind of girl you want her to be. She isn't willing to stop doing it. She's only going to continue to hide it from you. Even if she promises to end it, will she really? Or will she just become better at hiding it?
Exactly.
What other secrets does she have? This is supposed to be the woman you are going to spend your life with, and you can't trust a word she says? Stop apologizing for checking out her phone. She gave you no choice. Blind trust isn't good for any relationships. Trusting someone who deserves to be trusted is very easy. This girl has been lying to you for day one. How can you expect to have trust in her? I would walk away, as I feel she isn't capable of being trustworthy. Anyone who can lie to someone they love that easily for this long with no guilt will probably never change their ways. Nevertheless, if you want to make it work, you have to sit her down, be strong, stop apologizing, and letting her make it seem like you are in the wrong for what you did. This is about her. Get the truth. Get the truth out of her no matter what. And if you still can't because she keeps lying, then walk away and don't look back. And OP does respond.
Oh my God, yes.
OP does respond, maybe a little bit more with a backbone this time.
Thank God.
So, thanks. I really am being a pushover. I just need to be strong this evening, and then I'll have an idea about all of this. It is nice to hear from so many people that I shouldn't be beating myself up over this. And that is where that story ends.
No way.
Do we think he's actually going to leave?
I
don't
think
so.
I doubt
think so.
he's ever getting on the internet again after literally, I'm sure
Getting that
everyone just eviscerated him.
Yeah,
So I doubt there's an
ridiculous.
update. But yeah, I would say he left.
Yeah.
I'm
You
going
think so?
to,
Is there an
I
update?
say
Checking.
without a doubt, that man left.
I don't think so.
He did.
I
He
don't know.
realized it took.
I hope so. I
it
hope
took
so.
a big tidal wave.
But it's easy. It's easy to say that in a message. I think it's harder to actually convince.
I think here's what happens. Okay,
All right, tell me.
he tries to break up with her.
He tries to break up with her.
They're at the airport because they were gonna go on a vacation together.
Yep.
And he just couldn't hold it anymore. He breaks up with her at the airport.
Can they hear you? Are
She
you
gets
too soft?
She gets arrested. Done. She's done now. She gets arrested at the airport. No one ever sees her again. She disappears. OP now goes on a globe-trotting journey.
To find her.
Buys the first random flight. Yeah, to find her. Yeah, sure. Let's do that. He finds her, and then he starts his journey to find her.
Yep.
Like and
He's trying to
then
find
we
her
have
everywhere.
the Indiana Jones, the plane with
Yep.
the red line
Yep.
going all over the place, and he finds her in. Oh God, I'm trying to think of that. What was that place? that had Hillary Clinton's emails?
I do not know, but what I do know is this story was bonkers. Is there?
No
there's
update.
There's no update.
No
Unfortunately,
update.
there's
Just
no
there's a comment saying, "Yeah, thanks guys, I'm gonna get tested."
Yeah,
All right.
I think he's done.
I hope so.
He's done. He's a field researcher in Antarctica now,
But
taking ice cores.
But do we have another story?
Mm-hmm.
We got one more story.
I just got engaged to my fiance, but my family is not happy.
Boo that entire family. Boo them.
I just got engaged last week to Frank, and we have been super excited and happy. Some backstory. We both live in Canada. Frank's entire family, both sides, are here as well. But aside from my mother, my dad passed away a couple years ago. All of my relatives still live in the country my family immigrated from. By the way, this comes from Engage Excitement, and if you want to spit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I've met all his relatives and am quite close with them. They are all super nice. A smattering of relatives from both sides of my family have met Frank when they've come to visit and when they were here for my father's funeral. There's a bit of a language barrier with them for Frank, but he's always been polite and kind. Luckily, with Easter weekend, we were able to tell most of our families who live in Canada in person before posting online. We got a really warm reaction from his parents as well as both sides of his family. It was all really lovely. Before posting on social media, I messaged my overseas relatives through group chats with the news and a picture of us smiling together with some champagne and the ring. From my paternal relatives, there was a big happy slew of congratulations and well wishes, and when I later posted on Facebook, a few of them commented again with happy wishes. Before my dad passed away, he spent a lot of time in the hospital, and he had made a point of saying that Frank should be allowed to come visit him as one of our own, even when my dad didn't really want visitors anymore. Frank hates hospitals, but he spent a lot of time visiting my dad. Seeing that my paternal relatives were accepting of Frank was a really nice reminder of how loving my dad was and how excited I think he would have been for us. But here's the issue. The reaction I got from most of my maternal relatives, including my mother, really surprised and disturbed me. We saw her for Easter Monday and excitedly announced it to her. She seemed almost suspicious and asked what our plans were for the future before giving two kind of robotic handshakes and saying congratulations.
You got marriage handshakes?
She got marriage handshakes from her mother.
That's a bad sign.
Then later, she sat us down and asked how this would affect our educational futures. She even pulled me aside to talk to me about life insurance and wills, saying that whoever I marry, she wants to ensure a good life for me and her future grandchildren and not any step-grandchildren. She outright warned against leaving money to Frank or sharing my resources with him because what if you pass away and he remarries and has kids with the new wife? She'll spend all the money and he won't care about your kids. This isn't the first time she has basically coached me to assume everyone, including my future husband, is out to get me and that I can't trust anyone except blood family. I find it ridiculous and really, really depressing. I told her in no uncertain terms that I knew exactly who I was going to marry so she can lay off the hypothetical whoever I marry talk, and furthermore that he wasn't the type of person who would abandon our children just because I'm passed away. She insisted she was giving practical and realistic advice, so I just changed the subject. In the group chat for my maternal relatives, only 3 of them have responded. There are 9 people total in the chat, including me. One cousin, Larry, sent a shocked emoji, and an aunt said, "Most importantly, don't let it affect your studies." I wasn't sure how to even respond to that, so I just sent back, "With Frank's support, everything has been better in my life, including my studies." Larry just said, "Oh, really?" I stopped responding after that, as I found their reactions really bizarre and hurtful. Another of my cousins, Dan, piped up to say that Frank's a lucky guy and congratulated us, which was nice, and I thanked him, but after that, it's been radio silence for a whole day. I've messaged Dan privately to ask if I wrote or said something wrong, though I haven't heard back yet. Update, Dan has no idea. I am super grateful for all the positive reactions we have gotten, both from Frank's family and from my paternal relatives, as well as from our friends and community. everything. But I can't help but feel really shaken by my mom's reaction and the response of my maternal relatives. I don't understand the fixation on my studies, aside from the fact that I've already graduated uni and have been actively applying to medical schools, which I hear back about in a few weeks, wish me luck, while working full-time. I've never been the type to engender worry about my academics. My GPA has always been around a 3.9, and Frank is literally the most supportive person when it comes to my schooling. He took care of me during my undergrad thesis, helped proofread my medical applications, and has always celebrated my successes. He takes great care of me and uplifts me so much. I don't know, I guess I wish I knew why they were reacting like this. I'm just floored and have no idea how to proceed with them being so weirdly hostile towards my engagement. I really thought they'd be excited because, well, that's how people generally react. What do I do?
You move on without these people. I know it's really easy to just be like, don't care from an outside perspective, but it's like truly like if these people just can't be like happy for you and excited you're getting married, forget them. In the context of your engagement or your wedding or your marriage, forget them. Who cares?
If you really want them there that bad, the next thing you do is you send them an invite to the wedding, and if they say no, they say no. You don't even need to do that.
I have a sneaking, it's like there's a classist thing going on here. There's some kind of othering happening to your husband by this whole side of your family.
Yeah.
I gotta assume it like came down the chain of command from like your mom, and that's just infected everybody.
We have an update. Hey everyone, I posted my original issue a little while ago. Long story short, I got engaged, and when I announced it to my mom and maternal relatives, I got a really cold reception. I posted basically because I didn't really know how to process it. I'm still kind of in disbelief, but I actually had a chance to chat with one of my maternal aunts. I thought she called me and called her back. Turns out it was a butt dial. But since I had her on the line, I decided to ask what her perspective was. I won't really hush out the details of the conversation, but essentially it seems to boil down to a few things. First, because of the distance and language barrier, none of them really know Frank very well. So mostly they are going off what they're told about him. It seems that my mom has been talking about him in unflattering ways and just overall painting him as not good enough. Yeah.
Why are we doing that, Mom? Why are we doing that?
One weird thing that they seem to have fixated on is that he doesn't have a full driver's license. I don't either. I have a new driver's license and he has a learner's. Neither of us have a car, and public transit is decent enough in our city, so getting a full license hasn't really been a top priority. It seems though that between that and him not being in the workforce full time yet, because still in school, even though they've been told about his part-time job, my mom doesn't think very highly of his ability to provide and disapproves, despite saying to my face that she will just love whoever I love. They see only my mom's disapproval and nothing of how hard he works, how sweet he is, how creative, funny, etc. So if I am to change their minds, I am already starting on the back foot and running damage control. Second, they seem to think I'm still a baby. My aunt was saying how I'm still young and all. I pointed out that I was turning 25 this year. On the young end for an engagement, sure, but by no means a child. She actually did a double take when she realized that. Yeah.
But like also 25 is still young.
25 is still young. But I have also had this realization of talking to, because I just turned 25, of my cousins and then being like, you're 20, no, you're 18.
Right.
And I'm like, no, I've been an adult for a while.
Yeah, it's probably more of like it's just been a while. It's been a lot of distance. And they're like, oh, you're
grew
right.
up. Yeah. She also asked about a lot of things, what we plan for the future, if we've talked about having kids, what sort of lifestyle we want. Basic butt crap that anyone with half a brain of foresight would talk about before an engagement. They just don't know that though.
Yeah.
They're excited to hear it. I obviously had answers for all the things she asked, and she almost seemed surprised that I never once had to say, we've never talked about that, or I don't know. She ended up saying that I'm a grown person who can make her own decisions and that she just wishes me well. We also talked about my mom a bit. We kind of ended the conversation there. It's been a few days now, and at the end of it all, I think I'm just angry and sad. I know neither Frank nor I are at our life goals yet, and we still have plenty of growing to do, but I just feel super disrespected and underestimated. I'm pissed that my mom would claim to just want me to be happy and that she'd love whoever I love, and then turn around and talk crap about the man I love and who has been an incredible supportive partner to me. She keeps saying that she wants a better relationship with me, but honestly, I'm starting to see that she doesn't. Not really. She wants a better relationship with who she wants me to be, not who I actually am.
Yeah. OP said it. OP said
She
it.
said the thing, guys.
She wants to just mold you and form you like a little ball of clay, but you're a human.
By the way, we love you no matter who you are. If you go and listen to full episodes with stories just like this, just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. But we have an update. And to be fair, I guess I feel the same way. I would love a better relationship with my mom. If my mom were more genuinely supportive and less judgmental and didn't think her perspective is the objective truth quite so much, whatever. I'm still going to get married, and I'm super happy about that.
Yeah.
My future husband is a swell guy who makes me really happy.
Yeah.
If anyone can't bring themselves to feel genuinely happy for us, then they can feel free to F right off.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the end of that story.
Yeah. We got there. That's exactly where you want to be.
Yeah.
And if you can like fully embody that in a real way, you're perfect.
Your mom's not giving him a chance. I think it's clear that maybe her parents were divorced, and I think your mom is projecting all of that onto you and Frank.
There's definitely some nonsense going on in the logic department of your mom's brain. Anyway, that's the end of that story. We got another one coming right up. Don't go anywhere.
I brought my fiance to the family party despite my famous cousin's wishes.
Who's your cousin?
My cousin is very famous. Yes, you have heard of him.
No,
and
what
no,
Who's
I
the
won't
cousin?
tell you who he is. We'll call him Terry. Terry Crews.
Terry Crews.
By the way, this comes from Xmas Hole 111. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So when we have family functions, mainly for holidays, Terry likes for them to be only family so he can be himself and get wasted and pass out on the couch and share Hollywood gossip with us. Otherwise, he feels like he's being interviewed and having everyone talk to him or want a picture, or he has to be in promo mode. He said it's because he was tired of having to meet strangers and not be able to let loose. And there's some issues of these partners taking pics of him or spreading gossip. He's too famous. He's too famous.
He's just too cool.
I feel like that, honestly, you know, that could be a real issue.
Yeah.
I hated this at first because I would be dating some chick and she would want to get to meet him, and it's awkward to tell them they can't come to family events, and they get mad and they never get to meet. My Tinder pic has a pic of me with Terry.
Who is this?
I'm just like,
But I get it, so I was fine with it until this year. I began dating this chick. I don't know.
I'm just like, they just date me for him, and then they're mad that I can't show him to him.
Yeah, they're dating me for him. Yeah, I mean, kind of. I mean, you're flexing it too much. Also, I like when I feel like you say like dating this chick. It just sounds like you're a frat bro.
Yeah.
I was dating this chick in August. Couldn't bring her to Thanksgiving. Fine. But when I walk in, I see another cousin, Danielle, has brought her boyfriend, Steve.
Not
Even
Steve.
though they've been together for less than a year. They got together over New Year's, engaged on Halloween. Terry was fine with this because he's met Steve before, old family friend, even though I've been told that no exceptions are allowed to his rule. Thanksgiving sucks because the whole time I was mad that I once again was allowed to bring my girlfriend. My girlfriend consoled me after, and I realized that she's my soulmate. She's my freaking soulmate. Terry didn't let me be my soulmate to Thanksgiving. 2 weeks ago, I proposed and we got engaged. I feel like he's like, I'm going to show Terry. I'm going to be able to bring her next Thanksgiving.
So I'm a little worried. This is only for Terry.
Xmas was at my aunt's, and I'm a believer in ask for forgiveness, not permission. So I brought my fiance because she had nowhere else to go, and I wanted her to meet my family. We all walk into the house, and then all heck breaks loose. Everyone was asking who she was and scolding me about the rules, and Terry flipped out. He was already buzzed and looked 20 pounds heavier than he usually presents himself and started yelling at me for doing this to him. He didn't seem excited at all about my engagement or willing to introduce himself to her. Okay, really quick, there's a lot more to the story, but who is the a-hole, OP or Terry?
Oh, at the beginning of the story, I was like hardcore, I think OP.
Yep.
If you didn't get engaged just to do this to Terry, then Terry is. But if you only sped this up for Terry, then you are.
Yeah. There's a little bit of me that feels that he sped it up just to stick it to Terry.
That's what I feel like. In which case, I think OP would be the a-hole a little bit.
Yeah. But I mean, it sounds like she's... I love how he's like, yeah, she comforted me about not being able to bring her to Thanksgiving.
So,
Soulmate. That girl is my soulmate.
She was clearly fine with not coming. Soulmate.
Soulmate. Well, our grandma was telling Terry to get over it and asking to see the ring and saying she wished she had gotten my fiance a gift. So my grandma was on my side. Let's go. But Terry was still arguing with me and said I shouldn't be allowed at any more events. And he ended up calling an Uber Black. Ooh.
Not just a regular Uber.
And leaving before we even ate. To top it all off, my uncle, who has never even liked Terry, got upset because apparently Terry has his secret Santa, so he didn't get a gift. So my uncle started blaming me for ruining Christmas. I get they are mad. But it was clear there was an exception for fiancés, and I'm embarrassed that my family was so rude to her when I just didn't want her to be alone on Christmas. Am I the a-hole? There's a lot more to this story.
Yeah, by the end of that, Terry... Yeah, you were pushing it there, buddy.
OP was the a-hole in the beginning. Terry was the a-hole near the end. I think fiancés should be able to come.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But did it sound like that was when they were finding out that she was his fiance?
What?
Like, they didn't show up to Christmas to be like, by the way.
I think they announced that they were
Before
fiancé.
Christmas.
I don't know.
Okay.
I think they found out there.
'Cause that's kind of putting the line back in of like...
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Queen Procrastination says communication. Yeah, I mean, like I think you shouldn't have surprised the family with it. I think that's what happened.
Yeah.
OP surprised the family with this new person. Everyone's like, "Who's this new person?" He's like, "It's my fiance," and they're like, "Well,
that's
there's
kind
new
of
people."
weird.
But I think if it's your fiance, it's fine. But you should have tested.
Yeah.
You should have announced. Well, verdict, everyone sucks. That's what we said.
Yeah.
Relevant comments. Samov91 says, everyone's the a-hole. You could have asked. You could also not use your famous cousin as a pick on Tinder. OP responds, well, my matches skyrocket when I have a picture with them.
He gets all the chicks.
Just trying to level the playing field on the apps as a guy. Mom91, edit. Went from everyone's the a-hole to you're the a-hole based on new information. Did the family know ahead of time about the engagement? OP responds, I didn't tell them about the engagement because I knew they would be critical because my previous engagements.
No, he totally did it for Terry.
Engagements did not end up working out. Prairie Mountain Zen says, how many times have you been engaged? OP twice before. Once when I was 19 and an idiot, so that didn't work out. And then again later on, and I thought she was the one, but it ended when she sent a story about my cousin to TMZ to make a prick buck. Hence Terry's rule.
You're the reason.
You're the reason.
You're the reason. You should have said that in the beginning.
You're the a-hole.
I think people are just matching with you to meet Terry. They're like, if I date this guy long enough and get engaged, I will meet Terry.
Which is exactly why Terry has the rule.
Who is this guy? Who's Terry? Okay, OP's the a-hole for sure.
Yeah.
Why Am I So Awesome 9 says, you're the a-hole. It sounds like this was the first meeting of a fiance you have been with for a very few months. Trying to compare to the other cousins' relationship is pointless. You said it yourself. They have met Terry a few times. Basically, you use his profile pic on Tinder, then wonder why he doesn't want fangirls trying to meet him at family functions. You would rather ask for forgiveness than permission, so decided not to discuss at all. At what point would you not be the a-hole? And OP responds, if I had told them, they would have told me not to come, or Terry would not have shown up, and everyone would be sad because he's the favorite. And my fiance isn't like my previous one. She's definitely not a fangirl and only asked a few times about getting a pic with him. A few times.
That's a fangirl.
A few times. Deb Destroyer TX says, why would she need a pic with your cousin? OP says she's a photographer model, so it'd be good if she could take pics of him. But it's not like a priority or anything. Just, oh, wow, when I get to meet him, I'd love to get a pic with all of us.
OP sounds...
And the top guess who the cousin is. Zanuzzi says most popular guess is Chris Evans. OP mentioned superhero before he deleted the comment. Also, OP being from Massachusetts and some other clues. OP deleted a comment about how other people use dogs and babies to get dates on apps, and he uses pics with superheroes. Also, OP denied that it's Chris Evans, which makes me think it's Chris Evans. Well, it's definitely an actor who plays a superhero who likes to do things with his family. Also, the story leaked to TMZ was an incident where many people close to cousin Terry was about, which tracks with what was leaked about Chris Evans on TMZ a few years back. Another thing leaked was some plot point about a movie, which makes me think it was Marvel movies. Also, OP repeatedly denying that it's not Chris Evans, just makes me think it's Chris Evans. OP hasn't responded to much except to deny that it was not Chris Evans. Who knows?
It could also be Paul Rudd. Isn't he from Boston and also a superhero?
Who?
Good.
Paul
Rudd?
Ant-Man. Am I mixing those up?
I think OP is for sure an a-hole. For sure. Well, update. Nobody has correctly guessed who Terry is, and I won't respond to any more guesses. And I don't use his picture to get girls.
Yes, you do!
I literally have Araya, so I have no issues in that department. You said you were trying to make this playing field even.
Dude, you're
Also,
so shallow.
Raya is not the flex you think it is.
OP is so shallow.
I literally have
So shallow.
You also have a fiance.
Yeah.
Why are you on Raya?
I think you found her on Raya, maybe.
You better not have it anymore.
Yeah.
That was just because I was hot, but that worked out well.
By the way, you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. There's another relevant update. We're just going to dive right into it. Anyway, nobody talked to me yesterday, but I found out this morning that all is fine. Terry called me to apologize for making a scene and congratulated me on my engagement, and I accepted his apology. He also told me he went back and visited with family yesterday and gave my uncle his gift from Secret Santa so Christmas isn't ruined for him. As for my fiance, she handled it all really well, even though it was an awkward way to meet my family, and my aunt made rude comments about her outfit. She also had the idea that we should have the family over for New Year's to make it up to them. So yeah, everybody was a bit dramatic, but no harm was done. Final comments. Oh, Crumbcake says, the important thing right now, did you apologize for being a major a-hole? Terry didn't owe you an apology. The rules are ultimately for his safety, and you broke them because you are being a selfish a-hole. Did you apologize? Because you're the one that owes him an apology. And seriously, get rid of that picture you use of him to get yourself laid. That's just gross. And deleted said there was not a mixed response in the slightest. The response doesn't lean towards you're the a-hole. Almost everyone thinks you're the a-hole. And those who don't think that say everyone's the a-hole. Admit your mistake. And OP has not admitted it. But that is where that story ends.
My fiance's family constantly judges me because I'm not wealthy like them. Oh, yes, the poor people must stay away from our family. I, 26 male, and my family moved to the States when I was young. My family never had a lot of money growing up. My parents brought my brother and me here to give us a better life. My dad was on a visa, and for 15 years of us living here before getting a green card and becoming citizens, we never overstayed or broke a single law. My dad had a sponsor who took a chunk of his paycheck the whole time. By the way, this comes from AdeptFly4787. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. My dad wasn't able to save much, especially because right after we moved here, the 2007-2008 recession happened. That set us back a lot. After that, it was all about survival, making sure we'd be okay before anything else. No vacations, no restaurants, limited hangouts with friends, but my parents did their best to take care of us. When I got to high school, I lost a lot of friends towards senior year because I didn't have money to go out and do nice things. I couldn't work no matter how much I wanted to because I was on an H-4 visa with no work authorization. I got into college and did my best, landed a good paying job after. My dad barely scraped together enough for my first 3 years, and I took a loan for my fourth. I lived at home after college to save money. I managed to save a good amount, but then I had a huge life-altering emergency with my direct family back in my home country. We wouldn't be where we are without them, so without thinking twice, I sent money to help them. That drained most of my savings. It taught me a tough lesson: help when you can, but don't sink yourself. The next 2 years were rough. In and out of jobs, barely getting by. I saved up again and finally moved out because my job was really far and the commute was unaliving me. From senior year of college onwards, I have been with my girlfriend, 26 female. From day one, I told her my family and I don't have much money. She comes from a very well-off family. Back then, she didn't care. Fast forward to the rough 2 years, I saved enough, had 6 months of savings, moved out, and within a month, lost my job. I was panicking, spiraling. That year of extreme job stress and instability was also when my girlfriend and her family started talking marriage. We fought a lot that year, mostly about marriage. I'll be honest, a lot of it was my fault. I wasn't really engaging in marriage talk or ring shopping. My mind was stuck on how am I going to pay my bills next month? I couldn't ask my family for money either. My dad's been out of work for over a year, still is, and his savings are drying up. He's got to take care of my mom, my brother, and himself. We fought a lot about me not seeming interested in marriage. I tried to explain I was having anxiety attacks and constant panic about my job and finances. They've been together 2 years.
Yeah.
They're both 23,
Yeah.
probably. And he's got no money.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course he doesn't want to get married right now.
Yeah.
Can't afford that.
That's okay, man.
Jeez.
Yeah, if you like just worrying about paying your rent next month, that's such a like normal thing to worry about. Let
Do it.
yourselves figure out your job a little bit more so that you could pay for a wedding. Because how are you even going to have a wedding
Exactly.
if you don't have money to pay for it?
Fast forward 3 months after getting laid off, the time came to buy the ring. This timeline was set when I first moved out and had a job, but I completely forgot. I told her maybe this isn't a good time to buy it. I only had 3 months of emergency savings left, and I wanted to wait until I had a job. We had a huge argument. She told me I crushed her hopes, that it's going to be embarrassing for her with family and friends because she's already told them a proposal was happening that month. I couldn't handle the fighting and the tears, so I early liquidated part of my 401k, bought the ring, and proposed. A month and a half later, I found a job. From the proposal onwards, both families have been talking about the wedding. My parents were honest. They don't have much money, but they love my fiance and are genuinely happy for us. Her parents' smiles faded after that, and it's been negative energy ever since. My fiance tells me they say things behind closed doors, that this marriage is a mistake. Well, everyone can agree on that. That they raised their daughter with high standards, and she's settling for someone so low. They don't like me or my family because of our finances.
Wow.
Look, I completely get being concerned for your daughter's future, but I didn't think it would be this extreme. Talking about friends, I have friends who aren't well off like me, and friends way wealthier than my fiance's family. None of them or their families have ever judged me for my finances. But all her friends are extremely well off, and all they care about is what college you went to, how rich you are, did you buy a house yet? My fiance spirals about not being able to keep up with them after marriage. Don't get me wrong, I love this woman so much, more than I can put into words. She's the best thing that's ever happened to me. This love feels generational, like a past life thing, like we were
Aw.
written for each other. Apart from this huge issue with her family, everything else with her is honestly perfect. We get along, we love each other, and she's been my rock through a lot of other tough times. But I can't shake the feeling that I bring nothing of value to her life. Her family constantly gives her crap because of me and my background. I don't bring much financially to the table. She's got everything figured out. I'm grateful I have a stable job now, but I don't have much savings or investments. It'll grow, but it'll take time. By the way, you know what never takes time? Listening to full episode stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime.
You can listen while you're doing other things, so
Yeah.
it's like no extra time.
No extra time at
No
all.
extra time.
But folks, there's a little bit left to the story. Do you have
Yeah.
any final thoughts?
A lot of thoughts. First of all, this is why we don't get engaged, so we're not embarrassed.
Yeah.
Because we think other people are going to judge us.
Just
'Cause
stop comparing.
Yeah,
Stop
she was
comparing.
like, I already told my family. What
Don't
are they
tell
going
them
to
that.
think? It's like,
Why are
well,
we caring? Yeah.
turns out they don't want the wedding at all now. So maybe you should have waited until you guys had enough money to be married.
I think you go to your fiance / partner. You go to them and you say, "Hey, I love you. You're, everything that you said in this post. I love you. You're amazing. You're the love of my life," or whatever. But if you think that your parents' feelings and thoughts on our relationship is more important than just us being in a relationship, then
Yeah.
it's not going to work because you're prioritizing what they think.
Yeah, like maybe have a heart to heart with her and be like, is the real reason that you wanted to get married this fast? Like,
Yeah.
is it because
Is it for us? Is it because you love me and you want to get married?
Yeah, or is it because like people's pressures to get
Mhm.
married at a certain age or after a certain amount of time dating each other?
Yeah.
Like really think about that and be like, well, I do love you and I do want to marry you at some point.
I
And just
just
right
can't
now
afford
is
it.
just not the right time for me.
Yeah.
And clearly we're not getting a lot of support from it. So
No. I feel like a detriment to her life. Like she and her family would be happier if she was with someone more successful and financially stable. Even writing that tears me apart. I've got tears streaming down my face as I type this. I feel completely broken. Are finances really all people care about? What can I actually do to handle the pressure of not being financially enough for the person I love, especially when her family constantly makes me feel worthless? Comment 1, it's her responsibility, not yours, to push back on her family. She needs to tell them she doesn't care if you have money or come from money. She just loves you for who you are, and they need to accept that and stop bringing it up. Comment 2, you were unemployed and barely paying bills, but she's crying about an engagement ring. Why didn't she help you find a job? If her family is so rich, they must have connections. Regarding the wedding, I thought that traditionally the bride's family pays. Tell them you're a traditional guy. Regarding money, you're still starting out. Does your fiance know the salary range of your career? If it's not great, can you switch careers to something that pays well? Opie says, yeah, I spoke about this very briefly with my mom, and she was shocked. It's a really odd situation because she knows every detail of my struggle and says that she understands. But then when things don't happen along her ideal time frame, ring, purchase, and proposal, it turns into I'm understanding you and adjusting, but you're not doing the same for me. I understand everyone, but when do people take time to understand me? It's really devastating. You can't say, I understand that you can't marry me right now, but you're not understanding that I want to be married right now. If you want to be married right now, then you got to find someone else, I guess. She knows every single detail about my fiance, along with my salary and how much I make each month and what my bills are. In regard to my job, thankfully, I took the extra time to not take the very first offer I got. This was another learning I had, and made sure to vet companies as they do to me. Comment 3, she's the one that told her family that a proposal was coming that month, despite you two having multiple conversations about it. Does she really want to marry you or have a wedding?
Yeah.
It seems like she's more interested in the keeping up with the Joneses than anything. Why can't she back you up to her family? She does realize that if you get married, you become her immediate family, right? Her family called you low. You don't meet their high standards. Do you think this will magically change after marriage? If she can't stand up for you now, I don't think she ever will. Opie says, you're right in that it will not automatically change after marriage. But my thought process was that after marriage, we would be one of those couples where the in-laws are on one side and are just unhappy. I've always wanted a great relationship with my in-laws, but it seems like it is not turning into that. And OP talks about Fiancé's friends. The friends really do annoy me. Her friend group, the boyfriends in the friend group, only really care about things like, what academic accolades do you have? Are you also maxing your financial status in every single waking moment? Are you keeping up with the rest of the group? Buying a house, second house, stocks, etc. It's really annoying. And when we get together, they only ever talk about work and jobs and stock market and things like that. If someone were to buy a nice car or buy some fancy clothes or purchase things that would be overall considered not a smart purchase, there is just extreme judgment. It's more upsetting because when she's away from her parents and friend group and is with me and we hang out with my friend group, she's so normal and relaxed and just calm overall and doesn't spiral about finances or things like that. And that, folks, is the end of that story.
Man. Yeah, it sounds like she has to work on a lot from what she's grown up with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they're so young. They're 23 and they're looking at this like that's a huge move. And it sounds like she definitely needs to. She just has
all this pressure from like the people in her life, and she just needs to honestly lose those friends.
I told my fiance about my past, and she's not happy about it.
What'd you get up to?
I, 26 male, am a pretty successful graphic designer. I was already working from home for a lot of projects for a long time before everyone started self-quarantining and practicing social distance. While I am definitely not part of the essential workforce, I have still managed to find some work to keep me busy. By the way, this comes from Clown Foo. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. My fiance, 26 female, has been furloughed from work and as such has been staying home with me. And we've been spending a lot of quality time together. One night we were having fun and joking together, and I jokingly said that everyone does weird things for money when they're in school, like start an Etsy or sell feet pics. She joked back and fake accused me of selling substances. I told her it wasn't anything illegal, illicit, nothing related to spicy sleep or substances, but then accidentally let it slip that it was just embarrassing to me personally. And then after a second, she stopped laughing because it became real. We talked about it, and I said I didn't want to talk about it because it's super embarrassing. Dude, and it isn't who I am at all.
Nah, but now you've set it up like
You
that,
gotta
and
say it.
I'm only going to be thinking about this until you tell me.
She said that she understood and gave me my space about it for a couple of days. But after that couple of days, she seemed uncomfortable. And when I asked her about it, she admitted she was concerned about what I did for money. I told her it wasn't anything huge. I really just didn't want to talk about it. And I wished her to respect that and to trust me. But I could tell her not knowing was beginning to genuinely upset her. That night, I thought long and hard that this is the woman I want to marry, and I should be open about my past. So relented and told her the truth. I used to be a clown. She was unhappy that it was something I hid from her, but it was a period of my life over the course of 2.5 months and about 12 parties. She has been cold to me since, and that really sucks because we have been spending a lot of time together and we aren't really talking as much as we have been. From what I understand, she's probably more upset that I had to be pressed to tell her than admit to her of my own volition, and I think I may have violated her trust. Honestly, the clown thing just never came up because who talks about their part-time jobs from almost 5 years ago? It's not on my resume, and it was before we started dating, but I did end up sitting down with her and telling her everything. Now I'm so scared that was a mistake because of how she's acting now. She hasn't told anyone, and though we haven't really argued either, but now I'm wondering if I'm just reading into how she's acting and obsessing over this new piece of information I put into her world. It feels like there's a new distance between us. Now, I wasn't hiding the fact that I was a semi-professional clown out of malice. I wasn't part of any unions or anything, just kind of a performer for hire, but more out of embarrassment because it's far and away from the type of work I do and the person I am today. Honestly, it's not a dark period of my life or anything, and I think the story itself is interesting. I'm one of those types that thinks some bad decisions can make good stories to a degree, but it's not something I like to talk about because while it is an objectively fun story, it doesn't have a particularly good ending. My act was very specific and weird. Only 2 or 3 friends know about it, I think, because they were at the party where I got the idea to perform as a clown for money. And I literally just used the same costume from that party for my act. All things considered, I was pretty successful for what amounted to some weekend gig. I didn't want it to be something weird that would follow me for the rest of my life, so I was secretive about it for those couple of months. I was always paid in cash, never checked, and this was before electronic payments were huge, as in I didn't have Venmo or do PayPal. Surprisingly, made a few $1,000s.
Are we sure he's a clown?
I mean,
He made a few $1,000s
from 12
from 12,
parties.
yeah.
No, that's totally normal.
Yeah, let's say he's
He
doing
was
like
making
100,
less than 100 a day.
Yeah, like 100 for each party.
I need to
That
know
makes
what he was
sense.
doing as a clown because like I did like a very specific thing as a clown. Like
What was
there's
your
only so many things you can do as a
If
clown.
this man is a still walker too,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have some
I'm so
choice words for
embarrassed.
you, buddy. That I had put towards some of the fun things I own, game systems, electric skateboard, etc. But I stopped when that terrifying clown hoax of 2016 was happening and heard that people were getting ready to gang up and beat up clowns. So I thought it was best to cash out and hang up the clown costume, so to speak. Also, because I know it'll be asked, back in uni, I was an athlete as well. Kind of. I was part of a martial arts club where we would perform martial arts choreography at certain school events. It was kind of like color guard, but with the old 1-2ing. When I told Fiancé this during our first few months of dating, she made fun of me relentlessly for days, but she ultimately thought it was kind of cool. Anyway, I put that athleticism in my act where I'd break boards and do some parkour, but
I
I'd
got
also
one.
do some clown stuff like smack myself in the face with whipped cream in a dollar store pie crust and talk in a stupid voice and trip. It was fun because I was making little kids laugh and impressing them more than I was scaring them.
There's nothing embarrassing about this.
That's like wholesome. Your
nothing
fiance would be like,
embarrassing.
"Oh, you like."
I'd be like, that's so cool.
That's
Can
so
you do Can you
sweet.
do it?
Sometimes I'd get a parent involved and have them steal my clown nose and run away, and I'd trip and fall chasing them at first, which would set up the parkour chase scene of my act after I put some distance between us. By the way, it's hard to convince big dads that yes, I will absolutely catch up to you, and it will be much faster than you think. The kids love the act, and I learned I would generally get paid more if I involved the family, with plenty of warning beforehand of what I was capable of. I never, ever advertised this. You should have.
You should have. You would have made so much more money.
You could be doing this full time.
Yeah.
This was just word of mouth, and I think all of my clients knew each other in some way and knew me as basically a friend of a friend. And we have an editor's note. Oh, that includes some info on the clown sighting / panic of 2016. We have some relevant comments. HDTV123, dude, why are you acting like being a clown is on par with serial unalivings as a part-time job? I personally would have found that super funny and endearing. I think your girl's reaction is really weird and uncalled for. Cranberry94, I don't think the girl is upset because he was a clown. I think it's more that he wouldn't tell her and let her imagination run wild, probably feeling anxious for days, and all for something so minor. If my fiance didn't trust me enough that he refused to disclose that he was a clown, I'd find that upsetting. Kujaichi. Yeah, let's be honest. With that build-up, my first thought totally would have been a spicy dancer and or call boy. And frankly, I'd also probably been a bit put off by the fact that he didn't just say it, but made me think who knows what for days and everything. It's just extremely weird. And OP talks about how he got into being a clown. Well, to be fair, I didn't do it because I was hurting for money. It started out as a favor to a friend that ended up snowballing into a paying gig that paid for some fun toys and knickknacks and a whole lot of pizzas. I know that it wasn't her intent to make me feel ashamed of it, and I don't hold it against her. Also, the other comments have pointed out she basically might just be getting stir crazy, which we have talked about happening. And it's more that I did it for a short period of time, and it was in a time of my life, an entrepreneurial 21-year-old, where I did a lot of dumb and weird crap, and I attribute my brief stint as a clown as one of the weirder ones that is largely unbelievable. Wow, so I wasn't expecting this to blow up as much as it did, or like at all. I have spent a lot of my workday, work from home, reading all the comments and replies and tweets. Fiancé and I sat down and talked about it. I told her about this post because I was genuinely concerned about what I should do in this situation, and I have a bad habit of making jokes about bad situations sometimes, but we had a civil discussion. She told me that the reason she was acting distant was because, like some of you said, she thought I was lying about the clown thing.
Yeah, because why would she, like, you literally wouldn't tell her for so long. She was like, well, he must be lying, because there's no reason he would keep that a secret.
The reason I was embarrassed about it is because I didn't fully commit to it, no matter how it is phrased. Telling someone you were a party clown for 3 months either gets met with, wow, that's cool, or holy crap, what a lie. And she, like so many of you, went with the latter. So we talked about it like adults. I calmly explained that I was not lying, and that the story is stupid and inconsequential. But the circumstance in general of being a clown from start to finish is unbelievable in a way. I got the idea of being a clown at a costume party when a former friend told a wasted me he thought my costume was fun and that I should be a clown for his nephew's birthday party. I thought he was joking until he actually contacted me about it the next Saturday and said he'd pay me $100 to $200 for the whole day. Being 21, that's a lot of scratch for being an idiot for a bit, so I did it, and then it just turned into a thing. I told her I stopped being a clown because I didn't want it to get out that I was one so publicly, and it was around the time I kept seeing posts on Twitter and Tumblr about people getting together to go hunt clowns, and I felt that even if it was fake, the chance of it being real and it happening to me was not really one I wanted to take. It was fun for a bit. If I had been a clown for like half a year, I'd probably tell more people about it, but doing it for a short period of time comes off as kind of a lie. If you need proof, literally read half the comments on this post. My fiance is not crazy and high maintenance. She's normal, a little wild sometimes, and kind of cooped up here, but I love her all the same. By the way, I love you if you go listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. Anyway, she believes me, which I'm grateful for. I apologized for not telling her sooner, and she apologized for pressing me to talk about something so clearly weirdly polarizing. Like, really, this wasn't so much a post asking you all to take sides in the matter, like you are all so seemingly ready to do, but more like asking advice on what I should do to try and bridge the gap in communication. She still seems to have some reservations, so I promised her that I would try and do my act for her in the park when the quarantine is lifted.
Heck yeah, that's what I like to hear.
She asked me to do it for her now, but I told her our apartment is too small and filled with things that might break. I talked to her in my clown voice, and she hated it because she said it, in her words, sounds like Goofy on speed. Thank you, everyone. And we have some final comments. iFlap21 says, also, I sense that it was probably more difficult for you to come clean about this, since when you told her about the martial arts thing, her first reaction was to mock and ridicule you for days. I would honestly understand you hesitating to open up that part of your life to someone who is so willing and happy to make you the butt of the joke. And OP says, thank you, you understand. For us, it's water under the bridge, and she has since apologized. And we watch martial arts movies together, sometimes at her suggestion, which is also another reason among the list of many I asked her to marry.
Whoa.
Gila Earworm, have you brought up to her that the fact that she made fun of you relentlessly for doing martial arts might have played a part in your reluctance to tell her about this part of your life? If you want to be trusted with information, you have to act in a trustworthy manner. OP says, this comment was actually really insightful, and she read the comment and brought it up in our conversation. Thank you for your input, truly.
It was a great end. We figured it out. I loved that.
I was asked to gain weight so I don't outshine the bride.
That's just an upsetting thing to hear.
Earlier this year, my cousin Jeff
Jeff?
asked me, 22 female, if I'd be willing to be one of his fiancés, 30 female, bridesmaids for their wedding this fall. While I've known Julie for about 5 years, we've only met a couple dozen times or so, usually at family gatherings. We weren't even Facebook friends until I agreed to be one of her bridesmaids. So no, we're not exactly close.
Then what on earth are you doing being her bridesmaid?
By the way, this comes from Deleted, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I agreed to do it only because Jeff has always been like a big brother to me, and he explained that Julie couldn't find another bridesmaid. She needed 4. She's rather reserved. Some might say witchy and judgmental, and doesn't have a lot of friends. She doesn't have any sisters either. So even though I knew it would be costly, it's adding up to around $2,000 now. I did not regret the decision at all until today. Here's what happened. This past weekend, I finally got fitted for my dress. The maid of honor has been bugging us to get fitted ASAP to send pictures of us wearing the dress Julie had chosen for us. So even though the dresses needed alterations and I won't have the final product for another couple of weeks, I posted a picture of me wearing it in our bridesmaid group on Facebook just as I'd been asked. This morning, I woke up to find that the maid of honor had sent me a long series of messages via Facebook Messenger. The messages start out really nice, thanking me for getting fitted. I think I'm the only one besides her who has done so. Buying my dress and shoes without whining about the price in the group, etc. Then she hit me with this bombshell. We're going to have to do something about your looks, unfortunately. You know that the bridesmaids can't look better than the bride. LOL. A joke, right? Nope. She went on to tell me that she'd noticed from my Facebook profile that I exercised quite a bit, and she suggested I stop doing that between now and the wedding. She joked, i.e. LOL, at the end of every other sentence, that I was going to make Julie, her, and the other bridesmaids look old and fat if I didn't at least gain a few pounds. Think about it like this. Now you have a reason to eat pizza and ice cream every day. LOL. She also said that obviously I shouldn't wear any makeup on the wedding day to make it more fair for Julie and the rest to look as young as me. It didn't end there. She wondered if it'd be possible to wrap my front airbag down at least a cup size with an ace bandage or something. And as for my hair, well, an early 90s style would be perfect. Something to make me look older. Finally, as though I couldn't be more annoyed and shocked by all of this nonsense, she dropped the LOLs and got serious. The wedding is about Julie, not you. It's your duty to not show her up on her big day. You agreed to this responsibility, and like it or not, you have to live up to it now. I expect you to understand that and not ruin what should be the happiest day of her life by making the wedding all about you. How on earth do I reply to a long-winded series of messages like that? It's never ever been my intention to show up anybody in the wedding party, least of all the bride. I never even wanted to be a bridesmaid. I never comment in the Facebook group. I don't debate about this or that. I just do what I'm told. I'm doing this for Jeff, not Julie. And until now, I've been willing to do whatever is asked of me. Also, it's not my fault that Julie is, to be blunt, rather chubby. Not my fault that her maid of honor is pushing 40 too and looks it. It's not my fault that the other 2 bridesmaids are not exactly in great shape either. Is it really my duty to purposely let myself go for the next 3 months? I don't think so. No makeup on the wedding day? Fine. No problem. Bad hairdo? Ugh. So long as it's temporary. I guess so. But wanting me to gain weight? Get out of shape? I mean, first of all, I doubt that even if I did stop running every morning and quit going to the gym right now, I'd look significantly significantly closer to what the maid of honor obviously wants. I get lots of exercise at work. I'm a waitress. I'm very active in general, and I have a strong metabolism. What does she want me to do? Start eating McDonald's every day from now until the wedding?
It's just an absurd thing to. I really hope that you don't play along with this and you just go, I'm not going to do this. And if that's a problem, then
I'm out,
I
then.
just won't be a bridesmaid.
Yeah.
Not even like being mean, just like, this is absurd.
I can't do that for you.
I'm not going to do this, so I'm just not doing it.
I'm honestly at a loss on how to reply to the maid of honor. Should I just ignore it? Should I tell Jeff that I'd rather not be a bridesmaid anymore? Should I contact Julie and tell her what the maid of honor said? I don't know. Oh, and by the way, I've already paid for the dress, the shoes, the plane ticket, and reserved a hotel room and rental car. So I'm going to the wedding no matter what.
You can just go to that place and do whatever you want instead.
But I'd be willing to take a wash on the dress and just go as a guest if there was a polite way to get out of it now. Any advice, please? Thanks. And we have some comments.
No.
You have done nothing wrong, and the maid of honor sounds insane. Who says these things to another person? Please don't stop your lifestyle or change yourself so you can look a bit more run down by wedding time. In my opinion, either ignore the message and go straight to Julie, or respond with something short but polite, saying that you can't accommodate her requests, and then go straight to Julie. Ask Julie if this is something she agrees with, because if so, then you can no longer fulfill your role as her bridesmaid. And OP said, I considered that, but I have a feeling the maid of honor discussed this with Julie first. They're best friends, and the maid of honor has said things in the group before like, Julie wants this, or Julie decided that. Keep in mind, Julie is a member of the Facebook group, but she never posts or comments. But she does look at what people post, including the picture I put up that caused all this. Her name is listed under the seen by link. What I really don't want to do is create unnecessary drama. Comment 2. I assume that the bridesmaids will be getting their hair and makeup done together on the wedding day. Comment 3. My response would have been, LOL, what the actual F is wrong with you?
Can I just quickly comment on that thing where OP is like, I don't want to cause unnecessary drama?
Not OP, when the rest of them are.
There's no way around causing. You're going to have a confrontation where you go, hey, if this is what you want, I find that unacceptable, so I won't be doing this. Whether you talk to Jeff or you talk to the actual bride or you talk to anybody, you're going to have that moment. So don't worry about creating drama. This wasn't your idea.
Comment 4. Now you know why she doesn't have a lot of friends. Either her maid of honor scares everyone away and she doesn't stick up for people, or Julie agrees with her maid of honor. Honestly, I'd ignore it. Nothing you say will change any opinions. What are they going to do? Take you out of pictures for being too beautiful? And we have an update.
They're just going to Photoshop like a bunch of mud and bad hair. They're going to put like a bunch of birds in your hair.
Thanks to the advice I received in that post, I decided to contact Julie, my cousin's fiance, directly. I used Facebook because we're not that close relationship-wise or geographically. Basically, I sent her a message asking her if the maid of honor was being serious in her messages to me, and I included the messages so she could read them. Julie didn't respond right away, but on Monday, my cousin, her husband-to-be, called me and said that she showed him my message. He was angry. He said that the maid of honor is a huge witch who has been trying to control every aspect of the wedding, right down to who should or should not be invited, as though that's her choice. My cousin and I had a good talk about it, and I was so relieved to hear him say that Julie was just as stunned by the maid of honor's messages to me as I was. But paranoid me, I wasn't fully convinced until I spoke to her this morning. She is livid at the maid of honor.
Yes, this is why we do communication.
Yes.
Yeah.
Apparently, she also sent similar messages to one of the other bridesmaids too. Not as bad as the one she sent me, but close. She assured me that she was sick and tired of maid of honor's insecurities and swore that she'd had nothing to do with the messages I received. Julie went back on to thank me for bringing this to her attention and made me promise to look my best on the wedding day, which is a huge relief because, like I said in my post, I've already committed a lot of time and money to this, and I really didn't want to spend the next couple of months dreading the event itself. As for maid of honor, Julie said she was going to talk to her soon. She sounded angry when she said that. Also, I just noticed an hour ago that the maid of honor is no longer a member of our bridesmaids group on Facebook.
Uh-oh. I hope you don't get recruited to be maid of honor.
Oh, yikes.
As a basically just an acquaintance.
I'm wondering now if she did talk to Julie and threw a tantrum and quit or something. If so, I feel really bad. But somebody had to say something to Julie about it, right? I don't know. All I know is I'm still a bridesmaid. The bride in question wants me to look my best, and I'm happy about that.
Okay.
We have some comments.
Okay.
Comment 1. Amazing how someone pushing 40 can be so delusionally childish. OP says, she works in human resources, is twice divorced, and has 3 children by 3 different men, and only has custody of 2 of them. She's not just childish, she's a control freak. Commenter 2. Please don't feel bad. You've just made Julie's wedding day much more bearable for the bride, yourself, and the other bridesmaids, and probably the groom, groomsmen, guests, officiant, photographer, and anyone else remotely connected to the wedding. If she is brazen enough to send you that message, I guarantee she would have made everyone's lives heck. Enjoy the wedding, do your best to help the bride and the other bridesmaids look their best, and don't worry about that snotty maid of honor. I mean, I'm glad it was exactly what we were hoping, and just that, like, Julie had no idea what was going on.
Julie didn't know. My fiance prioritizes his business partner over me. Now I'm rethinking our wedding.
Maybe you should have started a business with him.
Trigger warning, emotional abuse. My fiance, Nick, 30 male, and I, 25 female, have been together for 3 years, engaged for 1. I'm a grad student who is pretty broke and works odd jobs to pay for school and life. He is a mid-level executive pulling in 6 figures who works from home and has a ton of downtime and freedom. By the way, this comes from user Business Overlord 2. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Carly.
Recently, he's created an app that allows him to produce these digital goods he can sell online. He completely controls production and distribution of his goods, and the only cost is essentially maintaining the software. The stuff practically runs itself now at 0 cost to him. There is huge demand for these goods in this small community online, and a few months ago, Nick found someone there he could trust, Joe. Joe sells the goods for Nick, who doesn't like doing it, and takes 50% commission. The money is good enough that you could leave your day job doing it. Ever since he built the app, Nick has been trying to get me to sell these goods for him as well. He likes when I work from home so I can share his lifestyle with him, plus the money is better than a regular job. After a while, I agreed and started to sell. Initially, Nick asked for 10% of what I made, which was cool. Then I noticed he started getting unhappy with how I was selling, but unreasonably so. He'd start an argument if I gave a customer a $2 discount for a $70 order. Apparently, Joe was unhappy that I was selling on his turf and was complaining to Nick about it, and Nick was taking it out on me in turn. Keep in mind, there are more than enough goods and customers for Nick to hire 5 to 6 more sellers on top of me and Joe. The arguments continue. Selling is becoming unbearable for me, and Joe's complaints are just unreasonable. But Nick keeps saying that I'm the one who has to accommodate Joe and fix things. Finally, I tell Nick that I feel like he prioritizes Joe over me, and he replied, well, yeah, I get 50% of what he makes, so he's a more important seller than you. I have to prioritize him. That hurt my feelings. And of course, I wanted the arguments to end, so I offered to give 50% of everything I sold to Nick as well, so that I could be treated equally as a salesperson, and he agreed. Of course, Joe still wasn't happy. His complaints continued that I was stealing his customers and undercutting him. I came up with a fair solution of matching our prices, to which he agreed. But then he actively started undermining me as a seller. He would tell me he was selling something at 50, I'd follow suit, then I'd find out he was selling them at 20. Anyway, I told Nick about this, and he essentially told me the same thing as before. Joe was a priority, and he was tired of dealing with our drama. He also said that Joe was an established member of the community. He had a large footprint as a seller who's been doing it for years before me, and he was irreplaceable. Joe finally came clean and told Nick that he was unhappy that I was selling it all. He doesn't want to take money out of his mouth and put into hers, and therefore he doesn't want to have any sort of sales system with me. Nick thought his feelings were reasonable and started telling me that he didn't have to be my employer and that he owned the whole thing and could shut it down anytime. He said he wanted both Joe and me to be happy and that I should work with him on finding a solution, ignoring that Joe said he wants me out and was obviously going to sabotage any solution again. I was so disgusted and tired of the whole thing that I quit selling yesterday. Joe is happy. Nick is happy that he doesn't have to deal with the drama anymore, but I'm resentful towards Nick. I don't know if I'm in the wrong, but it's making me rethink our wedding. I'm mostly unhappy because Nick treated me poorly. He always took Joe's side and made Joe's problems my problems. He straight up told me I wasn't as important because I wasn't giving him as much money, and even when I gave him 50%, I still wasn't. And that, from everything that I've read, was because I don't know if this is... There's a lot of online situations. I don't think it's Counter-Strike anymore. I think it might be...
Oh, we're still guessing what this is.
I think it's probably something like an EVE Online or like a Second Life, where it's like this like a MMO, a game of, it's like a big online game where you spend real money on digital assets. And if this guy has created something that generates and codes and creates these digital assets, then yeah, your job is to basically sell them to these people online. Update, keeping all your advice in mind, I sat down with Nick last night to have a talk about the venture and Joe. At first, he was defensive. He accused me of entering the business and demanding to change the system Joe and I created. He said I'd been acting like an entitled girlfriend, asking for him and Joe to cater to my whims. I was so baffled by this version of events that I made him discuss each event chronologically. He tried to put the blame on me, but I wasn't having any of it. Eventually, he admitted that everything was fine with me until Joe started asking for changes. That's the only time I started coming up with proposed changes to the system, because neither he nor Joe were coming up with any, but he kept telling me something needed to change. Then he finally explained why he'd been acting the way he has. So it turns out that Nick doesn't view Joe as an employee the way I was, but viewed him as an equal business partner who was there with him from the beginning and has equal say in the business.
Yeah, because he was.
Because he was.
'Cause that's the situation here.
That is why he was irreplaceable. He apparently told Joe that I would only be selling temporarily, which is not what he told me. Naturally, Joe started getting miffed when it turned out I was there to stay, especially when I started selling a blizzard of goods, in Nick's words. He hadn't expected me to be so good at selling. Nick apologized, said he handled the whole affair very poorly, and said that I wasn't to blame after all. I accepted his apology, but I told him that none of it had been a reason to treat me badly, and that it showed that I was still not a priority. I told him that I haven't been a priority since the beginning of our relationship, and that marriage was not on the table anymore because I really need to be a team with my husband. He went quiet and then started talking about how he feels like he has to cater to me all the time, keep me entertained, and that my life revolves around him. I was really surprised by this, because I lead a normal life, and detected a hint of contempt because I'm not entirely consumed by work like he is. After a bit of prodding, it turns out that Nick is one of those people who prefer living by themselves, having 30-hour coding marathons alone, than passing out for 15. Any kind of relationship where you see each other more than 3 times a week is too much work for him, essentially. That isn't conducive to any relationship I want to have, and that hint of contempt really sealed the deal for me. He thinks I'm too high maintenance in attention and effort, and I think he's not meeting my minimum requirement for a boyfriend, let alone a fiance. He expressed these things to one another. At the end of the discussion, I told him the wedding was on indefinite hold and that we would be living separately from now on. He seemed bummed out, but accepted it. I think he really feels that our relationship can work that way. He seemed pretty dang chipper this morning. I know I need to leave him immediately. Problem is that we have a 2-month-long international trip coming up in a week that I cannot cancel, so I want to make that as painless as possible. This trip has been 10 years in the making and entails family members I haven't seen in a long time. After that, I'll move out and let him know it's over. I hate you for that. By the way, I would never hate you for listening to full episodes with stories like this on your favorite podcast platform, Spotify, iHeart, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. Just search OK Storytime and you can listen to over 70 days worth of stories. We're reaching the end of this one.
At this point, you are now stringing him along, not communicating properly. You're going to take him on a trip internationally to visit a lot of your family.
For 2 months.
For 2 months. He thinks everything's going a lot better, and you refuse to communicate that you don't think it is. You're going to go make all of these memories. He's going to be so excited, and the whole time you're planning on leaving him.
That's some like monstrous type behavior.
That is messed up stuff.
This is actually a very involved trip into a couple of continents. We have a shared apartment in Europe that we were planning on emptying and ending the lease on. We're both needed for that. The second leg of the trip is in my native country, and he's not needed for that. However, he's already paid thousands of dollars in non-refundable airfare for it and has been excited for months about it, so I'm not about to yank that out from under him. Our relationship may be ending, but I don't hate him. Honestly, he knows what me moving out means. He's a smart guy. I've always made clear that living together and getting married is important to me, so he knows. He's also someone who avoids unpleasant conversations like the plague, so it won't be awkward. This trip is making the best of things, I suppose. We have some relevant comments. How would OP describe the relationship? OP says, interestingly enough, we mesh really well as living partners, and there are very few annoyances. We're comfortable with approximately the same amount of mess. We have similar entertainment habits. We don't do anything weird that drives the other one up the wall. Our eating and sleeping habits are pretty much identically weird. It's just my actual existence that's an annoyance. He just needs 4 days a week when I'm not there. Ain't gonna happen for me.
Can we get him to write that too, please? I want to hear him agree. I don't think he will.
How will OP handle it with her family? I'll introduce him as a fiance and say the wedding date isn't set, which it isn't. My overseas family won't care if they find out we broke up later. They're not that traditional or religious at all. Wow, and that's the end of that story. You're a scumbag, honestly.
You don't
for
care
doing
about
that.
it anymore. I think fully you need to sit down, have a so deep, real conversation with him about how you don't see this continuing after the trip, and then give him the option to be like either lose out on the thousands of dollars or go, and even if he just like uses the airfare to get there and does his own thing, like,
dude, if honestly,
but he should know this going into this trip that he might come back without it.
1000% agreed. And if I'm this guy and I'm making 6 figures and I have a side gig that apparently prints money, I would rather pay $10,000 than to go through 2 months with someone who I think I'm repairing a relationship with, when the whole time they just think, I'm done with this guy.
Now, it also does sound like 1 month of that is clearing out an apartment and ending the lease, which I think probably still needs to happen, especially if you're not going to continue this after. So, like, he should probably at least do that, unless he decides he wants to keep it just in his name.
And also, who do you think you are saying he avoids uncomfortable conversations like the plague? You're literally planning on dumping him after this 2-month trip, and you're not going to tell him. That's the most avoidant thing I've heard in this entire story.
My fiance's grandmother crossed a line, so we banned her from our lives.
Ooh, grandmother? More like bandmother.
So me, 22 female, and my fiance, 26 male, who we'll call Matt, have been having issues with his grandmother, who we'll call Linda, since we found out I was pregnant. Sorry, this is going to be kind of long, and it's my first post. I had issues with her touching my stomach without permission, and her just trying to cross clear boundaries. By the way, this comes from Upset Average 3629, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So fast forward a few months, and we end up going out of state to visit Matt's family before I had the baby. We left on really bad terms with Linda. She had been extremely disrespectful to me anytime she talked to me. Most recently, she had agreed to watch my dog while we were out of state. She literally begged me to let her watch her because she had bonded with my dog. We had lived there previously with my dog, but the issue now was that she wanted to come out of state to visit my family too. So I needed to figure out what to do with her, or she was going to take her to the pound. I was 7 months pregnant at the time, and it caused me so much stress. I started having panic attacks at night, asking literally every single person I knew if they could watch her, and no one could. I understand she was a bigger dog, think German Shepherd Boxer mix, and was 2 years old, so a little rowdy. I felt so helpless. I was so far away, and there was literally nothing I could do. She ended up getting one of her friends to watch her when she came, so she caused me all that stress for nothing. She did end up staying with us while she was visiting. We were staying with Matt's dad and grandfather, Linda's ex-husband. Around this time, I started getting sick. I wasn't able to keep anything down, and I had some trouble breathing. I'm pretty sure it was just because I was carrying her so high. She was like right under my rib cage. They always wanted to go out and do stuff, which was just really hard on me, but one day me and Matt decided that we'd get some fresh air with them, and if I needed to stop and rest, we would. No one is home, and I'm doing my own makeup. I asked Matt to go get me a drink from the gas station down the street, so he does. While he's gone, everyone gets home, and they're so mad that he's not there. I explained that he's probably on his way back already, but they're just not having it. When Matt gets back, they're like, okay, let's go. But the thing is, I was on the phone with Matt the whole time, so he heard everything. He said that we weren't going anywhere with them if they were going to talk to me the way that they were. Linda then had the absolute audacity to say that we weren't allowed to be alone in the house. Like, which you don't even live here. So we said, we won't, and we went to Matt's mother's house. While we were at his mom's house, Linda texted his mom saying that she doesn't want Matt, or that white trash, back in the house, and that I'm turning him against her, which he hasn't liked her since long before me. She's done a lot of crap to him, but that's not my story to tell. I was pregnant and hormonal, so I started crying when I heard that, because his mom ended up calling his dad and yelling at him for how she was talking about me and making me cry in her living room. After that, I just kind of stopped talking to her at all. She didn't really talk to me either, but I never got an apology. Fast forward a month and she leaves. I'm super sick, so it was recommended to me not to fly back, so we decided to stay till we had the baby. I ended up having my daughter 6 weeks early. She was super tiny, 4 pounds, but she was super healthy, and we were only in the hospital for 2 days. The day I had my daughter, Matt's dad had sent Linda pictures of my baby, Liv. Not 30 minutes later, I was on Facebook, There were multiple pictures of her posted on there saying things like, my new baby girl. And she had even changed her profile picture. Me and Matt had talked to everyone before Liv was born about how we didn't want pictures of her all over social media and that we would let them know when we felt comfortable with them posting. My dad called her and she didn't end up taking them down. That night at the hospital, her and Matt ended up getting into an argument over the phone. She ends up saying, do you want me to call CPS on you?
Woman, the child was just born.
Yeah, was he doing wrong? After she said that, he just hung up on her. Apparently, this isn't new for her. Come to find out, she had done it multiple times to Matt's mother, who would just say outlandish things to try to get CPS to take the kids so that she and her son could have the kids full time. Crazy, right?
That's quite literally insane.
That is crazy. Like 3 months later, we are still living over here because Matt got a job and it's just easier right now. Linda decides to come visit because she hasn't seen her great grandbaby. She would literally call Matt's dad crying looking at pictures of her. She's really freaking weird. I decide, you know what? I'm going to be the bigger person. She's not here all the time. I might as well let her spend some time with her because family is important.
Ugh, no.
Grandma, no.
No, Grandma,
OP,
no.
Boy, do I wish I could take that back.
Yeah, that's just such a concerning behavior pattern because
Yeah.
it's like she's like obsessed with the grandbaby,
Yeah.
but then at the same time is like, I'll call CPS on you and ruin your family. It's like, that's
Yeah.
not good for the baby.
That's the kind of person that you would be scared to like kidnap your baby.
Or,
you know?
or something. And there's like in their delusional head, they're like, I'm keeping the child safe
Yeah.
from their terrible
Exactly.
parents.
Exactly. So my birthday happened to fall on a day that she was here, so I decided I'd let her get some one-on-one time with her just to be nice. We were only going to go to dinner and come back. I told her the rules I had. Please change her in my bedroom. I've seen both Matt's dad and grandfather do creepy crap. Everyone has to wash their hands before touching her and don't kiss her face. Just constantly hold her and sit her down. Don't just sit her in front of the TV. She needs to take a nap by 11 a.m. and like 3 p.m. if I'm not back. I don't feel like that's too much to ask. She explained that she was a mother before, so she knows what she's doing. And I said, okay. And we left. It took a little longer than I thought to get home because we were taking the bus. So we got home at like 4 p.m. When we got home, she is being held by Matt's dad, and I can already tell that she hasn't slept. I take a look around the room. On the coffee table is baby wipes and a dirty diaper. I walk over to her and I ask if she changed her in our room, but she cut me off super quick saying, yes, I did. So I dropped it.
Come on, folks.
Come
Come on,
on.
folks. She just had just a couple of freaking stipulations.
Yeah.
That's all she had.
I picked up my daughter and Matt came over to say hi to her, and Linda goes, did you wash your hands? I said, he's her dad. If he doesn't want to wash his hands before touching her, that's not your problem. And she just huffed. I had such a hard time putting Liv down that night. A quick summary of some other things that she did while there. She yelled at Matt because Liv had a rash. She didn't have a rash. She told on me for not letting her spend time with her one day because I was just having an emotional day. I have PPD and didn't want to be around her. She would tell Matt, the baby cried today, so I don't know what I'm doing and I'm obviously not taking care of her. Matt always shut them up because he doesn't put up with stuff like that.
Wow. She's like, yeah, I saw the baby crying, you know,
Yeah.
like how a baby does.
Right.
So I'm worried your wife can't raise a child.
You can't stop that, man. What are you doing to your babies to stop them from crying?
Yeah, no, I don't know. I'm
worried.
immediately, she's not coming around anymore
Yeah.
after this at
Don't
all.
trust. Not,
Mm-mm.
at least not unsupervised like this was.
No, she's not watching the kids. She won't.
Yeah.
She's not listening.
Fast forward to now. She's back in her state. And one day, I'm just having a really bad day. I missed my fiance because he was working a lot, and I was just as stressed as a mom. I was crying, and Liv was crying, and I was just holding her and rocking her, but I couldn't calm her down as quickly as I normally do. I guess Matt's dad told Linda about that day, and Linda contacted Matt saying I'm an unfit mother, and she's going to call CPS and take her away from us. When Matt told me, I walked up to his dad and said, so your mom's planning on calling CPS on us? I know no one is going to take her away from me, but if she has to live with family, it's going to be my mom. I know your mother thinks that she's going to take my kid away from me, but she's not. In fact, after this, she's not allowed to see her ever again. He was like, we don't want to take her away from you. And I said, your mother does, but we're done with her. And I walked away. By the way, we are never done with you because we've got so many episodes with more stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts. Just search OK Storytime. But there is a little bit more to the story. But what do we think about that comeback? The boundaries that are being set here today.
The parents are like, well, we don't want to take your baby. It's like, okay, cool,
Yeah,
but
it's like,
grandma does.
Yeah.
Well, so what are we doing? Why are we just like tolerating that behavior? from grandma.
Yeah.
I guess the parents probably grew up with it, but
Yeah, maybe they're just in the state where it's just like, that's just grandma. That's how she is.
yeah, it's like, yeah, don't worry about her. She calls CPS on everybody.
Right.
She goes to a restaurant, she gets the wrong thing,
Right.
she threatens to call CPS on the restaurant.
Almost everyone is on my side, but of course, Matt's dad thinks that it's very harsh of us to keep Liv from her. I think if you can't respect the parents, you shouldn't be able to see their children. I guess I'm not really asking, am I the a-hole? The question is, should I continue to let this woman in my daughter's life because she's family, or should I continue to hold her accountable for her action? Good question. Good question. Hold her accountable.
Definitely hold her accountable.
Yeah, don't let her around.
Depending on like whatever the situation is, it's like it might be unavoidable to like completely cut grandma out.
Yeah.
But I definitely wouldn't put grandma in a position of like, yeah, you're gonna watch the kid while I'm at work,
Right.
Or like you, and especially, or even the dad and
Yeah.
stuff, because it's like you just laid out. You're like, all right, this is how I want my child taken care of while I'm gone.
Yeah.
Just for like 4 hours,
Right.
and they couldn't even respect that.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I know, maybe it can be a thing where it's like, sure, I mean, when we have family get-togethers and I'm bringing my child, like, sure, you can see her. But, like, you're
Yeah.
definitely not going to be babysitting at all.
right, it's
At
like
all. None of that.
realistically, it's you'll probably have to deal with her to some extent, but like just don't let her. And clearly all the CPS stuff is just they're empty threats.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, 'cause
clearly.
even if she did, it's like nothing's gonna happen except an inconvenience to you. But it's like
Right.
the principle of like you're threatening us.
Right.
Of course, we're not gonna just like have you around. We might see you twice a year.
Yeah. Like, come on.
You know,
Come on. Consequences, man.
My fiance wanted to postpone our wedding after we already spent $10,000.
10 bands.
We've been in a relationship for 4.5 years. At one of our early dates where we talked about what we wanted in life, I told him about how I wanted to get married and have kids one day. He said he did too. We were on the same page about this and everything else. I see you. By the way, this comes from Practicing Pony 88. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So somewhere in the 1.5 to 2 years, he out of the blue told me that he doesn't believe in marriage and tried to get me to change my opinion. I've stayed consistent throughout, and we've had several tough conversations about how if he doesn't want to ever get married, then I need to go date other people. Ultimately, I stayed because he genuinely expressed his love for me and said that he would marry me because it's important to me.
Nope, wrong reasoning. I'm sorry. That's one of those fundamental like, do you want kids? Well, no, but I'll have them for you. Wrong. You just need to find someone who wants kids.
Oh, I see.
Like,
I thought it was the fact, like, I don't like Aerosmith, but since it's important to you, I'll go to the Aerosmith concert.
well, I mean, yeah, sure. If it's about an Aerosmith concert, that's different than getting married or having a kid.
Oh, I see.
Like,
Okay.
you know.
Okay. He didn't want to lose me or the relationship, and consistently has told me that it's beyond anything that he's ever had and never thought he would ever have. Even today, he says I'm the only person he ever wanted to marry, and he still does. This past September, I went away on a trip for 2 weeks. In October, he proposed to me out of the blue. I was completely blown away and shocked because I didn't think we'd ever fully resolve the conversation in marriage. I did not provoke, /nag, or ultimatum him into proposing. He came to his own conclusion about wanting to marry me. I had literally no idea that this was going to happen, and he planned out the proposal to include both of our friends. The story of the ring blew me away even more. He spent months designing my ring, making sure that it matched my jewelry aesthetic and was just right. He had the jeweler redo a few things to get it perfect. He involved his family and artsy friends in the process, created a digital mock-up of the ring, created the band from his grandmother's wedding bands. It's truly a unique and special ring. The level of care and detail and effort touched me deeply. I was so stunned and felt so special that he did all of this out of love for me. Wow. Usually somebody looks on Etsy and just buys one from there.
I'm so torn because I can definitely understand having your fears be assuaged by all of this behavior. Like, this guy's acting like he really, really, really does want to marry you.
Yeah.
But we know where it's going.
Yeah. But dude, this feels like a train that has a lot of cars behind it and it's going really fast.
Exactly. Yeah. Once you get that momentum, dude, It's hard to stop it.
Immediately, people started asking us when the wedding is, and with the holidays coming up, and preparing us to move in together. It was overwhelming, so we agreed to put off planning the wedding until January. It gave us some time to enjoy being engaged and enjoy each other without the pressure of wedding planning. My fiance and I were so in love and happy and had in sync during all this. In January, I came across a venue that seemed perfect. We checked it out and both agreed we didn't have to look any further. We discussed it together and decided on October. That's when the new problem started. Wait, so they found the venue, we discussed it together and decided on October. So they're getting married in October. But that's when the new issues started. Since then, my fiance has been extremely hot and cold with me.
Oh, I wonder why.
Very yes and no. Very in and out.
Up
Out
and
about.
down.
Up and down.
There were
Wrong
weeks.
when it's right.
There were weeks when we were together, excitedly picked out caterers and DJs and wrote up the guest list, followed by him being angry at me and very critical. When I tried to understand why he attributed it to the wedding planning, he was overwhelming both of us, and we were doing ourselves no favors by trying to plan a wedding in under a year. It also surfaced that he was genuinely hurt that I had not moved into his house yet. I'd been moving in for over a year now. I spent at least 4 nights there per week, but still had my own apartment about 15 minutes away from his house. My move stalled primarily because he loves his house. A fixer-upper that has been more fixer than upper for the majority of time that I've known him. Even though I don't love the neighborhood, I rent my apartment and agree to move in if he'd add closets, an oven, yes, there was no oven, a dishwasher, washer, and dryer, and get rid of his creepy roommate. Yeah, that sounds like basic necessities.
Yeah.
He fought me on this stuff for a long time and was incredibly inflexible. I think his guy friend agreeing with me opened his eyes. I wasn't going to compromise on my home needs since my fiance is well off and had chosen to live like a college kid in a frat house. Standing my ground worked, and the house is now in a place where I can comfortably move in. I know my lack of moving hurt him, and he felt stupid for telling people I was about to move in with him, and then it never happened, and he had to field questions of why. He also did this to himself a bit by jumping the pew and telling people. I've apologized profusely for hurting him. Until recently, I didn't understand how deeply it affected him. He now understands and acknowledges the role he played in my not moving and has apologized. Fast forward to last Friday. I'd put in a new grueling work project that had me working over 60 hours per week. My fiance has been hot and cold to me for months now, and after a long week, he tells me that he wants to postpone the wedding. I go ballistic because this means canceling the wedding since we've had several non-refundable deposits totaling over $10,000. He had told all of our friends and family to save the date. The wedding is 90% planned, and my dad has been planning an elaborate party for us this summer. The thought of telling everyone is humiliating, and the huge amount of money that will be lost. I told my fiance that he's paying for all the money, and we won't get it back. He's been splitting costs 50-50. He got me a check for over $10,000, the total on the spot, and didn't care about any of my feelings about canceling. So it's not a money issue. He just really wants to push it back.
Yeah, I think it.
Here's his reasoning. Are you ready?
Yes.
His reason for wanting to postpone is that he wanted us to live together longer than October wedding would allow. While I get this, it completely disregards the fact that I was trying to move in earlier in the year, but his behavior had to put the brakes on. I seriously didn't expect this problem to last so long. We had lows in our relationship that have had bumps in the road, not the new reality. In my anger and hurt, I've been doing a lot for our relationship lately, trying to cheer him up and put my emotions aside. I told him that he either marries me in October or we're done.
I think you can't keep kidding yourself, OP.
Is this a wild ultimatum?
Yes, because it's not going to change anything. It's just going to push it down the line.
I don't want to postpone to some hypothetical date that will never happen, but then he strung along for a few years. He assured me that he wouldn't be the case, but then tonight, well, actually, I may be right about it. He then said he felt backed into a corner and just says anything to get out of it. He then starts telling me about this pattern of brokenness that has followed him around his whole life, which I knew about before, and we had discussed it many times. His hot and cold behavior, which he now claims it's been our entire relationship. I just didn't see it. His greedy selfishness, how he never wants to get married, his history of sabotaging relationships, etc. Don't sabotage yourself right now. And after the story, go to your freaking favorite podcast platform, search up OK Storytime on Apple, iHeartRadio, or Spotify, and you will not be sabotaging your life by listening to advice from us. We're going to finish this story out. I asked him to flat out if he wants to break up with me, and he said no repeatedly. Just couldn't stop hurting me, and it created a cycle of hurting me, feeling ashamed and sad. And in the cycle, he's gone to yet another extreme. He said he's never wanted to marry anyone aside from me, but he also was scared of his hot and cold and stringing me along. Has anyone else been in a similar situation, and what did you do? I can't sleep, can't eat, I'm beyond hurt, and I don't want to be with anyone else. I've mentioned all the bad here, but there's been a lot of good, more so, in our relationship. I'm so upset. We have one comment.
I can tell you because I am this guy in a lot of ways.
Oh, wow.
And like the version of me that was that guy would not be able to change while still in a relationship with you. It's just going to, the cycle will repeat, and then you'll both feel terrible, and then you'll try again, and nothing will fundamentally change because it kind of can't while you're still in it, or at least I couldn't.
Yeah.
So
listen.
Well, let's read it.
In marriage, it's a lot more than a wedding. Do not fall into the trap so many make of focusing on getting married rather than focusing on establishing the foundation of a healthy relationship that can be sustained after a wedding. Why in the world would you want to go ahead with the wedding in light of all the issues that have come to light? How is getting married going to address them? Regarding living together, I absolutely agree with you, fiance. The issue needs to be resolved before the wedding. It hasn't happened for 2 years. The issues you have with the apartment are not going to magically go away. You both need to ensure that you are, in particular, are 100% comfortable with the living situation. And yes, some folks do live together before marriage, but the majority don't. There are aspects of your partner and aspects of yourself that neither of you would have the opportunity to explore without having had lived together for a significant time, at least 1+ years. So many more issues that cause conflict in relationships will only show up when you live together. He then started telling me about his pattern of brokenness. That comment. This man is giving you a critical information here, and you were just brushing his very serious concerns aside. Would you prefer he share these concerns after the wedding? Yes, he should have brought this up way earlier, but that is a moot point now. He's bringing it up now. What are you going to do about it? Your relationship is desperately crying out for some premarital counseling. Postpone the wedding. I agree. Counseling before a wedding or therapy. I've talked to Angie about going to therapy like about 2 years in to our relationship. We'll probably will, like, because it's getting serious and we need to start having serious conversations about, hey, what would this look like? How would we want to do it? And not like that we have any problems, but it's like taking the car to the get maintenance done, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I would never like down talk therapy. I feel like you guys can. It's not necessarily always needed, though.
It's not that we have a lot of problems. It's how we communicating well. It's like going to a coach.
I don't know. I guess
a lot of people think therapy like immediately is like, oh, there's something negative happening. No, it's just like,
yeah. My parents went to therapy whenever they were at rock bottom. They surprisingly got through it and they're good now. But now they do therapy. There's nothing really going on, but it's like maintenance. It's like we're just working out the kinks, and it's nice. Yeah.
My fiance said I was the best suitor while cheating with 3 other guys.
Well, that's how she knew you were the best.
Background: Jane and I, former high school sweethearts of 1.5 years, broke up after our first year of university when I kissed another girl at a party. I am remorseful to this day for what I did, and I told her the truth the next day and ended things as she deserved better and I needed to work on myself. By the way, this comes from a deleted user, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit and submit them there.
Do it!
So, after a brief reconnection at a club 6 or so months later, we saw each other frequently and decided to work on the relationship. Tragedy struck while we were working on things. I got a random call from the hospital to pay a visit to my mother. I went there with Jane, and the doctor and care worker informed me that my mother had unrecoverable internal brain bleeding.
Ooh.
And there was no choice but to disconnect her from life support.
Oh my God.
Oh,
That's
a
very
horrible
tough.
moment.
Yeah. Wow.
I was devastated. And a month later, my grandfather, who was
Oh.
my father figure, passed away as well. Jane became my support
Okay.
during these dark times, and we resumed our relationship. However, my struggles with drinking due to depression and nonstop work led to another breakup a few months later, as she couldn't witness my life go in the direction it was going. I mean, I don't think after that much loss, you were really ready to step into a relationship.
No, but like it is rough for someone to be like, you just had a lot of stuff go bad. I'm going to make it worse.
Yeah, being like, I'll get with you. Nah, actually, I didn't know what I was signing up for.
Yeah.
I'm out.
You've got
It's
a lot
called-
of trauma.
It's called
Bye.
character development.
I think
Yeah.
that was actually called buyer's remorse.
You're gonna
Dang,
thank me
ouch.
later.
Despite the breakup, Jane remained a supportive friend throughout our early 20s, 20 to 24. Stop it. You're not the arbiter of early 20s. I'm 29 in my early 20s. I asked Jane to get back together when we were 24, but she declined as she had grown out of who she used to be and wanted different things in life. She then moved away to another province, and I never spoke to her after that. After a 1.5-yearish hiatus, she moved back to my province in December of 2021. I randomly got a message from her asking to get dinner, and I accepted. I dropped the drinking, I had gotten my health together, and got a mid-six-figure salary job while she was away from my life. She was shocked at how much I changed, and we hit things off very well. After the dinner, we saw each other almost every day for 2 weeks before she asked me to get back together. She gave me time to think, and I eventually accepted. Things have been perfect these last 2 years. We got a place together, we talked about having kids. I proposed to her 6 months ago. Our relationship has been perfect. All caps.
I don't think so.
I feel like there's a big
I don't think
butt
so.
coming.
Big old butt coming.
A big old pork butt.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Our relationship has been perfect. I get along with her parents and siblings. We communicate, we respect our boundaries, and I truly love her. Fast forward to now, and she's on a 2-week work trip. We have an open phone, email, blah, blah, blah policy. And yesterday, I discovered unsettling information from the first 2 months of our renewed relationship through an old work phone of Jane's I went through, starting in December of 2021. It has had every iMessage and text saved since this time because of her iCloud login. Here's what I discovered. She told her friends I was the best out of multiple suitors because of my
No.
career and physique in December 2021, a week after getting back together with me. And how do we feel about that, Sophia?
Not good.
Right. And we
Very
feel
bad.
we feel very not good bad. Why is that we feel bad?
because she cheating.
Yeah, she's
Bad.
it's a false pretense.
It's bad.
She slept with 3 different dudes while dating me when she went out with her old friend in the first 4 to 5 weeks of our relationship. We both got STI tests in March of 2022, which was her idea. She had this is how long have you had this open policy?
Yeah.
Why'd you go through the work phone? Were you suspicious? Like, has this been eating away at you? Like, I'm just anyway. She
No.
had a sugar daddy account for months that she deactivated 4 weeks into our relationship, and one while we were in university for our first year, during the first time we were together, and was still talking to multiple people on it. She asked her friends if she should message her other ex in January of 2022.
Who are these friends that she's
For-
talking to?
Yeah.
Where is she getting her advice from?
I don't know.
Is it like one of the magic 8 balls?
It's ChatGPT.
She's like, should I get back with my ex? And the 8 ball's like, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
Come back later.
Remains to be seen.
Yeah.
Answer's unclear. In late January 2022, according to all the messages, she recognized her terrible decisions, cut off her bad friends, the ones that she partied with or supported the infidelity, and committed to therapy for infidelity and trauma. This is all new information to me. Knowing her now, this doesn't even seem like stuff she would do. I did a deep dive on the data on socials and everything. I have a comp sci background, and all of it seems true. All the guys and old friends have been blocked and are still blocked on all her socials. All accounts deactivated. I can see the dates of everything. Is there a way back from this, Sophia?
No. I mean, honestly, I think that OP is coming to us like she's changed. I do think he needs to realize, though, that she has lied to him this whole time. Yeah, maybe she's changed, but she never told him the truth. She still cheated on him and didn't tell him.
She really has changed and is still going to therapy, but I am in shock right now. We are supposed to get married next year in June. I'm facing disbelief and confusion, especially because she's been saying amazing things about me and expressing her love to her friends, family, coworkers, etc. in the messages since January of 2022. She seems to have completely left that life behind. I have 12 years of history with her, and I've seen that she's changed, but lying like that to me for a month or two makes me feel like a sucker. I was considered an option and ended up being the best one while she got to test the others. Is this relationship salvageable? We have some comments. Let's go ahead and read them because we literally asked that exact same question and played it out already.
Mm-hmm.
So comment number 1. She cheated and knowingly exposed you to the risk of STIs. She lied to you for the last couple of years. She only gave up the other guys for now because you make more money than they do, and she didn't want to risk losing that by getting caught. I mean, you could certainly jump to that conclusion because you've had not talked about it.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily know if that's right.
I think there is a world where she feels really badly and does genuinely believe in their relationship. However, it doesn't excuse anything she did.
Right.
She can regret what she did, but she still did it. Yeah.
She still did the thing.
And she still hasn't told them. So
she was ready to jump into a relationship as soon as she found out that you now have money. I don't even know if that's true. Then told her friends that she liked you more than the other multiple people she was seeing at the same time because of your money. She will absolutely cheat on you again when she thinks she won't get caught and isn't risking the dough, which would be after marriage. She doesn't genuinely love you and never will.
Dang.
If you stay with her... This commenter clearly went through something.
Yeah. Commenter did not
I don't necessarily
read the story.
I'm going to just go to the next comment because I don't agree with that guy.
Yeah.
Comment 2, did she ask to see your teeth? Did she run her hand down your flank? He's a prized specimen.
He's a prized pony, this one. He's going to be fast.
He's going to run.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're going to put him in the Kentucky Derby.
Oh, yeah. He's going to win us a whole lot of money.
They're going to be rich. So congratulations. You got bought at the stud auction. I'm being sarcastic. She has not changed. Going through therapy. Is she actually going through therapy? Did she actually repent, or is she just selling everyone a bill of goods? Okay. Again, I don't agree with that. That person knows absolutely nothing about if they changed or not.
Yeah.
I think OP clearly said that they did change.
Yeah, he noticed a change. But again,
Right.
it's like, I just don't agree with those comments in the way that they're saying it. But I also agree that, this might not be a relationship that can be fixed.
We have an update right now. Ooh, I didn't even think about this. Some people mentioned she broke up with me over a kiss the first time we dated.
That's a good point. I forgot about that.
Oof.
That's a good freaking point. Wow. Yikes.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's salvageable actually anymore.
I forgot about that.
I did. I forgot about that.
Oof.
I don't think I can get through that.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's rough.
When I told her she wanted to work things out, and now I'm realizing it's because she was on the Sugar Daddy app. But I declined because I wasn't the right person for her given I cheated and needed to work on things. According to the text I've seen, she only went out to dinners and coffee. Even said she had a feeling a guy wanted more than friendship to her friend, so she blocked the guy. We were exclusive December 2021 when she asked me to get back together. I'm not going to do anything while she's away or bring it up. I'm going to sit on it until she gets back and most likely bring it up to her. I'm definitely postponing the engagement. I don't know how to move forward or if I want to continue the relationship at this point. And we have a final update. I FaceTimed her, and she kept on pressing me about my tone and body language, and I cracked. I told her everything I discovered, and she broke down in tears. She's wanting to end her work trip early to come back tomorrow, a 5-ish hour flight. I insisted that she doesn't because I need more time to think. In reality, I've made my decision. I'm packing all of her things and ending the engagement and relationship overall.
Yeah.
Which I think is the right call.
I agree. I think there was a world where maybe they could have fixed it, but it's not this one.
Man, it's even worse when you were such a man of principle that when you cheated, you said you deserve better.
Yeah.
And she has literally none of those principles, clearly. So it is the best call.
It just sucks because, like, she says she went to therapy. She says she's changed, and maybe she's changed enough to not cheat on you actively. But her therapist hasn't encouraged her to tell you the truth.
I mean, maybe they have.
Yeah, and then she
And
hasn't
she's
done
just
that.
not, 'cause
in which case she hasn't learned anything.
Consequences are scary. Consequences are scary. I want to personally thank all of you for your advice. Having your perspective on the situation really opened up my eyes. I am not a suitor. I am not a bank. I am not an option. Regardless of our history, I deserve to be loved by someone that genuinely loves me for who I am, and not for what I have. And by the way, we have so many full episodes with stories just like this that you can listen to on basically any podcast platform. Whatever your podcast app of choice is, or just search OK Storytime. You can listen to over 2,000 episodes.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. I think we're creeping up on 2,500 now.
Dang, that's a lot more.
So yeah, we have a little bit of the story left. Do you have any closing thoughts or statements?
I think this
we're
was the
very
right-
straightforward on it.
I think this was the right decision. I think she cheated on you. You thought about it. You realized, I can't forgive her for this, and you broke up. At least she did it before the marriage.
A true Michelin star recipe
Yeah.
for a better, more peaceful life for you, OP.
Agreed.
I won't lie, I am heartbroken, but I know I saved myself a life of pain thanks to all of you. For those that have taken the path of forgiveness and got betrayed again in the long term, I want to especially thank you. You didn't deserve what you went through. You are all wonderful and amazing people, and I hope you get everything you want in life. Your perspective and rationale saved me. I am forever grateful to you. Thank you again for opening up my eyes and putting everything in the past and moving forward. Good
Onward
job.
and upward.
Excelsior. That is the end of that story.
My fiance wanted to cancel our wedding because the honeymoon hasn't been booked yet.
But you do that after the wedding.
Basically, me, 30 male, and my fiance, 31 female, have been together for over 10 years and are due to be married at the end of next month. Issue we're having is that 13 days after we're married, I'm due to run a marathon that I have been training for the past 7 months. The marathon is in another country, so I'd be away 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I'll be running it with another guy from work, and it's something that has been arranged for over a year. Flights, hotels, race entry, etc., all fully paid.
Okay.
Why would
Okay.
you do that?
Okay. By the way, this comes from Honeymoon, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. Now, my SO has always said that she doesn't want to go back to work immediately after the wedding and would like to go on a honeymoon. We live in Ireland, so my suggestion was to fly out the day after the wedding to Barbados/Miami for 10 days. However, my SO says that she doesn't want to travel on a long-haul flight to somewhere that far unless it's for 2 weeks minimum. Trouble is, when I suggest other destinations, France, Italy, etc., she also shoots these ideas down. So I know it's not really about long-haul flights. We've had a few arguments about it, her saying nothing is booked and me saying it's because she keeps shooting down my ideas. The other night, she said that if I'm still planning on going to the marathon, then there'll be no honeymoon and there is no point in the wedding. When I asked her to explain, she said the honeymoon is a big deal to her and she had always envisaged going away for 3 weeks minimum. She also said that she was pissed off at me going away for 3 days so soon after being married. My other suggestion was to do Barbados now for 7 days, then have a bigger, longer holiday, Christmas and New Year. This also went down like a lead balloon. Really just looking some opinions and advice as to whether I'm being unfair with still wanting to run the marathon 13 days after being married. A 10-day honeymoon to resort in Barbados will cost upwards of £3,000/5K. Edit. Thanks guys for the comments and opinions. I didn't expect this thread to attract so much attention, but am very grateful.
Okay. Well, so
Before
what
we
are
get into it,
What
yeah.
are our perspectives?
I am wondering, so we're about a month out from the marriage, right? I want to know why this didn't come up earlier. My SO is away this weekend on her hen party with her best friend and the one who has planted the idea about the ultimatum. I've asked her to try and enjoy herself and not think about wedding honeymoon plans. I didn't say we would talk about anything on our return as I didn't want to ruin her weekend. In terms of what I'm going to do, I have decided that I would still like to run the marathon, but while I have the time this weekend with my SO being away, I am going to research a range of honeymoon ideas, either consider going away straight after the wedding and until a day before my flight for the marathon, and also look at longer honeymoon ideas, 2 to 3 week duration for after the marathon. I don't see this choice as picking the marathon over the wedding. Upon reflection, I think I've shared the load of the wedding planning with my SO as well. I've tried to not let my training interfere with any plans, and at times I've given up runs to be available for wedding appointments. I've never rescheduled a wedding appointment due to running. Yeah, you'd be crazy if you did that.
Because you could just run at a different time.
You can run literally whenever. I'll try and get an update on the outcome of it all next week. Just to finish, a few people commented and said that I'm looking for an excuse to bail on my SO due to not defending her. As I replied to one poster, it's the internet, Reddit. If I took time to reply to everyone who called my SO names, then I would never get to reply to the people who put more thought and opinions into their posts. My fiancé really is the most lovely person and is always so laid back and relaxed. This is out of character for her to react like this. And as I found out last night, it has been her best friend that has planted the idea of the ultimatum. Comment 1, if you've been planning the marathon for this long, how did the wedding even get scheduled so close to it? She sort of dug her own grave, letting you train for 7 months without stopping the marathon after the wedding idea in its track. OP, the marathon was booked first. When we were booking the wedding a week later, I mentioned the marathon date and she said, sure, the wedding is before it, so the marathon won't be an issue. Clearly it is now, and my SO says she never said such a thing or else she wouldn't have booked that date. Comment 2, 3 weeks? What the F? In what world is that a reasonable amount of time for a honeymoon? You're not being unfair at all. You can do both. I don't understand what the problem here is aside from her being overly demanding and completely unreasonable. Some other people are saying to call her bluff. I agree. Probably just fluffing herself up in an attempt to get what she wants. Is that what you want for the rest of your life? Your potential wife throwing meaningless temper tantrums and threatening to take things away from you until she gets what she wants? Because if you yield now, that's exactly what's going to happen. OP says, I thought 10 days was more than enough of a honeymoon. We are by no means flush with cash, so a 3-week holiday would definitely be a stretch on finances. And folks, there is an update. I'll not get into too much detail about what was said for privacy reasons, but I will say that she still was not happy with the idea of going away on a 7-day honeymoon and then me going away for 3 nights, 2 days later to run a marathon. When I showed her all the research I had put into honeymoon destinations and asked which she preferred, I'd given her several options in Europe, France, Italy, Spain, Monte Carlo, etc., as well as America, South America, and the Caribbean. Now, she was always against traveling across the Atlantic because she said she didn't want to travel 8 to 10 hours on a flight for only a week's holiday honeymoon. So anyway, I presented her with all the options, bar one piece of info, which I was holding off until I had her honest answer. Basically, I kept asking if she was sure she wanted to rule out America and the Caribbean, and every time she said yes, she didn't want to go because she wouldn't travel that far for a week. Well, she changed her mind when I said, too bad, as I could have gotten you a first-class flight. And that's exactly what she did, and what changed her mind.
And that's exactly what she did, was change her mind.
No, I get it, but I'm confused. He has a first-class
He said, I guess I'll get you, I was going to get you a first-class flight. And then she said, okay, yay!
Yeah, okay.
I'm still like, you're making our... You need to stop talking to that friend, is what I'm saying. Whoever's like... in your ear, get rid of them.
Now, to be honest, this pissed me off a bit, as before I mentioned the whole first-class travel, she was so adamant about not going. But anyway, I thought to myself, no big deal. Who wouldn't change their mind traveling first class? So I booked the honeymoon and all seemed well in the world. We got married and had an awesome day and had an amazing honeymoon, including the first-class traveling. Should point out that I did no training or running while on honeymoon, as this was asked in the OP. We arrived back home on the Tuesday, did the whole family thing and catching up with people who were at the wedding for a few days. When we got to Thursday and I started to gather my stuff is when things started to go downhill. She kind of just lost the plot is the only way I could describe it. We had a massive bust up and she stormed out and came back and said that if I went, she was going to clear out my stuff while I was away and leave it at my mom.
So this all was about you having a passion for the running and the marathons, and she's like, well, I thought when we got married that this would end.
I seriously was perplexed by it all. I told her that I couldn't believe she would threaten me like that. There was no way I could cancel or pull out on my friend from work less than 12 hours before we were due to travel, and I told her that I wouldn't based on her threat. Seriously couldn't believe what I was hearing. Wait, so they're already married now?
They got married, they did the honeymoon, and now she's like, can't go.
Dude,
Yep.
we gotta be aware of red flags.
But this guy was so checked out. Like, how are you not?
Because he was so
aware.
He was checked in for the marathon.
The marathon. But, folks, you can check in with more stories just like this. If you go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left of this story, but like, yeah, geez. I mean, there were all the signs right there. She literally said, I don't want to get married if you do this. So I think we just need to pay attention to signs.
The moment your partner is like
Ultimatum and
using
your wedding.
using your wedding as like using anything as like a, well, either this or the wedding's off. It's like,
Especially it's
wedding's
like
off.
Your
Wedding's
passion,
off.
because it seems like OP is very passionate about this. It's just like,
Yeah, especially because we found out you guys talked about it, and then she lied. She lied about it. She lied about what her answer was.
Yeah, she could have just said, no, I'd rather have like this whole wedding be just our wedding. So let's plan it for after the
Could've
marathon.
said, don't do that.
Could have just literally planned it for after.
yeah.
That's it. And then it wouldn't have been a problem. I ended up going on the trip, but was worried the entire time what I was coming back to, as I got no reply to my messages or phone calls. When I came back on the Monday evening, the reception was frosty, to say the least. We had dinner and then talked, but even then it was strange. She asked me to promise her that I would not go on any more running trips. Ever? This was my first marathon trip abroad, although I have ran local marathons. I said I couldn't promise that, and that it was unfair to ask me that. Currently, I have not seen or heard my new wife since Tuesday, as she's staying at her parents' because of the entire situation. It's now Friday evening. I'm at a loss of what to do.
Sounds like you have a new ex-wife, my guy.
Yeah, it sounds like that was a really short marriage.
I know that marriage, but you're Irish, and I know that in Ireland they have weird requirements about their marriage, about separations and stuff.
Feeling kind of crappy about everything. We had an amazing wedding day and an amazing honeymoon, and now this.
Sure you
Did
did?
you? Did you?
I don't know what.
Come on, did you?
Are you just like completely like
I don't think
checked
he's-
out
yeah.
unless you have runner's high?
I guess so. While we were away, she never said a single word about me going running and was more than happy to travel 8 hours on a flight in first class. Something that we will never experience again due to the cost.
Then why did you do it?
Why did you do it?
Of course she wasn't be like, sounds so
Dude.
toxic.
Not sure what advice I'm looking for, but would be interested in people's views again on the situation. Feel free to ask anything. Why did you do it?
Why? It was like there every time she said,
Every
don't want you to run.
time. It was obvious. Come on,
oh,
dude.
man, OP.
Folks, that's the end of that story. There is another story.
I uninvited my sister for my wedding because she won't talk to my fiance.
Don't ever talk to me and my fiance again.
My sister Amanda and I used to be very close. She's 3 years older than I am, and I follow her lead on everything growing up. Admittedly, I used to be a human doormat, and thanks to my fiance, Zach, and his mom, I have made significant improvements in my boundary setting. With my sister, I never had to set boundaries other than respecting each other's borrowed belongings because she always looked out for me and had a strong moral compass, so it was never necessary until...
Uh-oh.
By the way, this comes from Top Conversation 64 on the Charlotte Dobre YouTube subreddit. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, about a year ago, my sister, who was pregnant at the time, came to visit me and my fiance. At the time, Zach was my boyfriend of 2 years, so we were not yet engaged. But she introduced the two of us originally, so they were friendly and familiar with each other. Prior to this evening, she had expressed some small concerns with me about Zach. Everything she mentioned, I discussed with him, and I did not find anything I deemed relationship ending. Yellow flags at most, hence we are still together. Edit, a lot of people asking what the yellow flags were. They were preferential things. She doesn't like that he's extroverted and I'm introverted, but I do. According to her, he spent too much money on his car and my birthday presents, etc. But I'm okay with it because he does not fall on bills to do this. Also, stay in your own business.
Yeah.
Who cares if someone's extroverted and another person's introverted? The evening the three of us got together was pleasant. We had dinner together first thing. Then, knowing my sister was a firearms enthusiast, she pulled out his new pew-pew to show her. She admired it, and nothing was said to indicate anything other than her enthusiasm towards it. After that, she stayed another hour or so, let us fill the baby bump, and left. Edit 2, Zach and I both believe booze and pew-pew don't mix, and I assure you, they were not mixed at all. They just had dinner. I don't think there were any drinks involved.
That's good.
The next morning, I got a message from her asking to meet for coffee because she had some things to say. Didn't she already say some things? This is what she's going to do. She came to the couple and she was like, hey, this is what I see that isn't working. Now she's going to come to each of them independently and try to break them up. She's trying to break you guys up.
And why do you think she wants to do that, Riley?
Because she wants to hold Zach's.
Whoa. Oh. Yeah.
Yep.
I think you might be right.
And we all know what actually rhymes with.
Yep.
This was strange to me, but I agreed to meet. When I arrived, she told me she was sorry for leaving abruptly. Edit 3, she did not leave abruptly. She stayed another hour after that. That is just her words at the coffee shop. But she was uncomfortable and not okay with Zach's behavior the previous night, saying that he was no longer welcomed in her home because she does not agree with him wielding a firearm wasted and that she saw his finger on the trigger too. Those are two things I agree with. Now this is a he said, she said kind of thing.
Yeah, it is, huh?
I do get robbed off the wrong way if someone mishandles their firearm. If they not safe with it, it's like, oh.
Yeah, I usually don't like it when people use weapons in a dangerous way, too.
Yeah. I told her that I wouldn't be okay with that either, but that was not what I had witnessed. At the most, he had 2 martinis, although I saw him drink 1, and it was after they looked at the pew-pews. Plus, he had handed her the pew-pew to see, so she was obviously not in any danger unless she mishandled it. Either way, I'm sure this intention was not to make her uncomfortable, so she felt she needed to set that boundary. I support it, but I don't agree with the reasoning. I also asked her that if she was choosing to implement that boundary to discuss it directly with Zach, because I don't feel like it's my responsibility to middleman that, especially if I saw something different. She did not agree to discuss with him, but I did end up telling him anyway since I was pretty upset. He was also very upset at the news because he had built a relationship with her and my niece over the 2 years. He ended up deciding to try to call her and bury the hatchet. Did she answer and work things out with him? Big nope. She did not answer and instead sent him a book worth of text about all the problems with him, saying she wouldn't talk to him because he would just use the conversation against me if she did. She accused him of being a heavy drinker, substance user, unable to handle firearms properly, financially irresponsible, and added a second boundary with him. On top of not being allowed at their house, he is also unsafe to be around her kid. She said she would not be okay with having him around until she saw physical proof that he was being more financially responsible and getting professional help. Only then could they discuss the possibility of a relationship. Okay, interesting. So she's cutting off the kids to Zach.
Yeah.
And can't come around the house.
But then he started saying all this stuff about her, about how she doesn't know how to handle weapons. Is that right?
No,
she was still saying
she
that
was
about
just
him.
still saying
Okay.
that about him.
Yeah.
This led to a lot of disconnect, of course, because I don't feel her discomfort warranted banning him from her house, much less banning him from being around kids. If anything, maybe she should have not chosen to be around our place anymore, or asked that we go there, that he not bring a firearm, which he has never done when we go to their place anyways. I really think there could have been more reasonable response to the scenario, but I feel like she just nuked the situation. Claiming a man is unsafe around children is a whole other playing field. Since she had not done anything to me directly, I went low contact, but I also want to respect my fiance's feelings, so I decided I would also stop going to her house as long as he is uninvited. Even though we are low contact, I still show up to help with 3 separate health-related events, watching the kids, and bringing meals, etc. I still never disrespected her wish to not have him around the kids, so even when I watched them without her, I would not bring them around our house. Amanda and I had a separate fight after all this, where I tried to explain why everything she was saying about him was not correct. I never asked her to change her mind, but I did request again that she talk to Zach and try to find a middle ground because these are her problems with him, not mine, but she refused again. I don't recall which argument this started, but at some point she started telling me how horrible I was being and that I was intentionally neglecting her and her kids and hurting them by my actions. She also blamed her previous divorce on me, saying that I was horrible in the ways I spoke about my niece's bio dad, and it was worse for me to do that because they were married. I never voiced my opinion about him all until she was considering divorce. I feel like there's more to this. The reason she nuked it was there was more underlying here. I don't know what it is, but I don't like it.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big thing to just like throw in there that like wasn't mentioned before.
Yeah.
Like, my divorce is because of you. Like, what? That's huge.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's actually going on? What are we even talking about anymore? Like,
Yeah, I'm very confused here. I think it seems a little planned.
you think?
it's a he said, she said thing. It's sort of like, whose word would you take more?
Yeah.
What do you think, Sophia?
Yeah, I think everyone's just talking things. They're talking the talk. I feel like OP knows what she saw.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it feels
Yeah.
like they're trying to talk, but nothing is actually like being said, you know? Like,
Mhm.
we're not getting anywhere from this stuff. She's just like, like, this is bad. It is bad, eat it. And then OP's like, okay, but no. And then, like, you're wrong. And then she's like, well, blah, 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 blah. My divorce is because of you. And, like, she's probably, trying to sabotage back to
Yeah.
get some revenge or something.
In December, Zach and I got engaged. It was amazing. He took me to a place we often go, so I was not expecting anything upon returning to his mom's house. His family had gathered, and he had paid to fly my mom and brother in for the weekend and had surprise engagement party planned for me after the proposal. I live very far from all my family except for my sister. They were in town for 3 nights. The night before, when I was unaware they were in town, and the night after the engagement party. Neither of them told my sister they were in town to keep the surprise. And because my mom had been asked by my sister not to talk about me in a previous conversation, so she obliged. My sister was not invited because Zach planned it, and by her own request, he's not allowed to be around her and her kids, so frankly, why would he invite her? Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I posted the engagement on social media, and my sister saw it while they were still in town. She had her husband call my brother to tell him how upset she was that they made no attempt to come to visit her, or even tell her that they were in town so she could come visit. She had a full meltdown, ended up cutting out my mom out of her life entirely over saying she lied to her. Even though I'm no longer interested in having my sister as my maid of honor in the upcoming wedding, despite that being my dream since childhood, I still want my niece to be my flower girl. After all, I moved states away from the rest of my family to help raise her in her bio dad's absence/neglect. So I called my sister and pitched it to her delicately. I told her since she could take her time and think about it, talk to her current husband, etc., and call me back. The conversation ended on a promising note. But then she called back. She immediately started spewing all sorts of lies about mom and my fiance and giving every possible excuse about why she still can't discuss the problems she has with him directly. Not my proudest moment, but she got me fired up enough. I ended up yelling at her over the phone, and I am not one of those who usually yells.
Whoa.
I told her I don't care at this point if they never get along, but I would love for her to get to a place where I can be in the same room as my eventually husband and sister and our children for the holidays. Even if they could just be silent enemies would be great. And it's still not my responsibility to middleman their relationship, but I shouldn't have to suffer just because she won't even talk to him. I have offered every type of conversation too. The 3 of us, 4, even with her husband, so she doesn't feel ganged up on. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense why you yelled at her because it's just a one-sided conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm exhausted just like having to listen to her.
Right.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, it's tough. It's like, obviously, yelling's never good and you should never yell. But at the same time, like, it can be understandable why, the heat of the moment can get you there when this woman is being pretty fiery.
yeah. Spewing things when you're trying to make peace.
Yeah, exactly.
The 2 of them in public, even with a professional counselor or pastor, whatever it takes to make her more comfortable, and she just finds more excuses why she can't and continues to demand physical evidence of things that I don't feel like she has a right to. She asks how is she supposed to know he's safe around her family if I won't give her the evidence. And I said, how about you just trust me when I tell you as your sister that he is not a danger to you. But she considers the original scenario as a danger to her. And we'll put you in danger if you don't go to your favorite podcast platform, search up OK Storytime on iHeart, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify. And we have a lot of dangerous stories, just like this one. I'm done with the sister-in-law.
Yeah.
Or the sister. She does not want a relationship with Zach. I don't think you can talk her into it. It might even be time to move back home because you went out to be with the kids, but
if
that's not
you
happening.
can't be around the kids anymore, yeah.
What's
yeah.
the point?
That really, it's frustrating when it's like the one thing. It's like, first of all, the kids are in the middle
control.
of the situation.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like, they shouldn't have anything to do with this. But then also, too, it's like, what can you do? Like, there's nothing. You've tried everything, and you're nothing's gonna help. Like, get through to her. So, just disappointing. But then hopefully, hopefully they understand. Like, maybe you can give the kids a gift and write them a nice little card if you are moving away as like a going away gift, something to remember me by.
Yeah,
And
probably.
then, because like obviously, in a lot of situations, if they did move away and then she would just be like crap talking them to their kids and then they wouldn't even want to
Oh
reach
my
out when they're
gosh,
older. But that's the
yeah.
hope, is that they would reach out when they're older, So yeah, maybe you
Yikes.
could write a nice letter if you do that. But
Yeah.
it's just very difficult.
I agree. The fight ended with me uninviting her from the wedding completely, as well as our lives, because she can either have both of us in her life or neither. And also, we are not inviting anybody to the wedding who treats the groom that way. She has not tried to reach out to me since. And I also will not speak to her one-on-one unless Zach is present. Anyways, because she only feels like she can talk about him if he is not around. I always dreamed of my sister being my maid of honor, and with how much time I spent with my niece raising her, I want her in the wedding. 3 months left until the big day, and I can't stop mentally pushing myself over uninviting them. I'm not afraid to change my behavior or apologize if I did something wrong, but I'm not willing to lose my man over something that seems this silly to me. Am I the a-hole? Please send advice if I can still have them in my wedding somehow. I want that more than anything. And more than that, I can't imagine going the rest of my life having to choose between family time with my sister's family or with my own. I don't know, man. She needs to have it out with Zach, but she's refusing it because she might be in the wrong.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's
She
weird. I
knows
don't like
that.
it. I wish we could get her point of view or like at least talk to her about this.
Yeah, get us on the phone with this girl.
Yeah.
We got to talk to her. We got to have
Really
that
do.
conversation.
Yeah.
Got things to say.
It's weird. Super weird.
I caught my boyfriend cheating. Now he wants to break up.
Well, I want to first.
My boyfriend and I are both 21. We dated in high school before we broke up at the end of senior year for some reason. Who knows? In the beginning of sophomore year of college, I transferred to the college my boyfriend goes to because I wanted to try our relationship out again. Not the best reason to transfer schools.
Yeah.
After many months, my boyfriend agreed to start dating again. By the way, this comes from Throwaway71602, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia,
And I'm Angie.
And I'm Keon.
and we try to give our best advice, but we haven't experienced most of these situations ourselves. We only know what we'd do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, we haven't had any relationship problems that I know of because he tells me everything. Last weekend, we had a bad fight, which resulted in my boyfriend leaving in the middle of a party. We didn't speak a lot since then because we needed time to cool off. Anyways, yesterday I was driving around a couple of stores, and I saw my boyfriend's car in the parking lot of a restaurant. I promised I wasn't thinking anything bad. I just wanted to see what was up. When I walked in, I saw my boyfriend with another girl. They were sitting in a booth just talking to each other. I have no idea who the girl is and have no idea where they might know each other.
Boy.
I don't remember everything in detail because I was so upset. But I admit I did say some things that weren't really nice because I was emotional. The girl looked kind of scared and quickly left. My boyfriend tried to go after her, but I told him we, as a couple, needed to talk. He told me that he drove her to the restaurant and needed to make sure she left okay. I was upset about this because he doesn't like it when I drive with him. He doesn't like it when you drive with him?
What? It's like, well, first of all, you're a bad driver. Second of all, you're a bad passenger friend.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like, you're freaking backseat driver. You're always
Yeah.
telling me to slow down. I hate it.
Yeah, what?
I almost started to cry. She ended up getting an Uber, I think, and I asked my boyfriend to meet at my apartment so we could talk. He got there before me, and when I pulled up, he said he wasn't going inside and would stay in his car. I think you guys are breaking up.
And I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I think it's time. We shouldn't be moving schools for our boyfriends that we already broke up with.
Come on, guys. Don't do
No.
that. No.
To summarize it, he was angry at me and said he wanted to break up. I felt blindsided and said that he was the one cheating, yet he wants to break up with me. He was the one with another girl without telling me, and he gets to end it. He called me delusional and said we were over and he would have some friends pick up his stuff from my place. I feel so lost now. I don't know what happened, and I'm honestly pissed that he, the cheater, made me feel like the problem. I just don't know what to do, guys. I tried to text him, but all he responded was that his friends were coming tomorrow. I'm just really upset, and I don't know what to say. Does anyone have advice? And there is an edit, a little short one. Okay, people are just being mean. I used my ex's emails so he could get the notifications, but apparently everyone thinks I'm a villain. Probably just going to delete this. And there is an update from the boyfriend's perspective. I already know what that's going to say.
Oh my gosh.
Either this is like a family member or a friend
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
And it's going to be so like obvious.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like that's very possible for it to happen. But if it did happen,
Yes.
and maybe OP just left this out of the story,
Yeah.
but I feel like he would be saying that in the moment, that she was like blowing
Sure.
up at him. You know what I mean?
Well, it seems
But
like
maybe he
she was
did.
like screaming at, I don't know. I think that it could totally be that he was cheating.
Yeah.
But it feels like there is a much more reasonable explanation.
Yeah.
And she didn't really let him say that, just immediately assumed he was cheating.
It was like a date.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like, I feel like people usually don't cheat like that.
Yeah. And also, I
Don't
feel like
just
he
go-
wouldn't be like, I need to go drop her off
Right.
if it was.
Like he would be like, oh no, it's like, no, it's nothing.
Yeah, I
but-
feel like there's something.
Yeah.
I feel like there's something else going on here, and she
We may have jumped to
doesn't
conclusion.
know. Yeah.
It's just always best to fact check and to
like, who was that?
yeah, and to not respond so emotionally.
And
It's
you could even
always
say, like, I'm not super comfortable with you having one-on-one lunches with the random girls I don't know or something. Like,
exactly. Yeah, sure.
that could be maybe the thing that you bring up. Let's
Yeah.
not go into
Like-
you cheated on me.
Exactly.
Update boyfriend's perspective. To start off, Becca and I dated all throughout high school. At the end of our senior year, she decided to break up with me so she can explore her options. I obviously was upset with this because I thought what we had was enough, but apparently she wanted to go into college without a burden. Her words. Ouch. So freshman year, I made a lot of new friends and discovered new hobbies of mine. When sophomore year came around, I felt like a new person. I had no idea she planned on transferring until the day she showed up. Within the first week, she had already made plans of getting back together. Yikes. I told her I needed time, and she respected that. After a while, I was getting lonely, and I guess the familiarity of her brought back memories, and we decided to make it work. She was never really possessive, or as some of you called it, crazy. She always hated feeling left out, and I guess her reasoning for being like this was that she missed out on a whole year and wanted to catch up with me. What she said was true. She did get attention from guys, and although she never did anything, she reveled in the fact that she got attention from others, bringing it up any chance she got with, but don't worry, I wouldn't do anything. I started to understand that the breakup in high school was so she could hook up with other people without feeling guilty.
Stop it. And all she told us was we broke up for some
Yeah,
reason.
she's like, I don't even know why we broke up.
I
So long
like
ago.
don't even remember. It was like we're both so drunk. We like blacked out.
Yeah, and then I broke up.
yeah.
She went to a
Crazy.
small school, and I believe that by the time the fun wore off, she wanted to go back to a stable relationship. I admit I shouldn't have stayed away, but I guess I got used to the stability as well. One of my new hobbies was working at an animal shelter. I usually go once or twice a week in the mornings to help out for a couple of hours. One of the other volunteers, Audrey, is the girl at the restaurant. I do not know this girl other than working with her once a week. I know she's 19 and know that she likes cats, and that's about it. On the day of the whole restaurant scene, I found Audrey crying in the break room, kind of separate room where employees and volunteers can go, having a breakdown. When she could finally talk, she mentioned that her ex-boyfriend showed and demanded to speak to her.
Oh.
From what she said, he was not a good person and partner. She told him not to come near her, and he showed up at work so she would freak out in public. I offered to distract him so she could leave, but she said she cannot drive, and her brother dropped her off. But he was at work. I offered to drop her off somewhere, and she said yes. Another thing Becca did not mention, I also work at the restaurant where we went. She didn't mention anything in this story. She's leaving out facts left and right.
That is crazy.
But you know what's not crazy? Listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. And also just like her being like, am I the a-hole for him cheating on? Like, he cheated on me.
Yeah.
She was so, like,
yeah. He gets to be the
definite.
one that breaks up with me.
Yeah.
It's like, dude,
you didn't know anything.
You
You didn't
saw
get
him
any facts.
sitting across from a woman
Yeah.
at a
Didn't
restaurant.
ask anything.
Oh my God.
It was a pretty slow time there, so we sat at a booth so she could compose herself. She was very apologetic and obviously very upset. My manager said we could stay as long as we wanted until Audrey was okay. Around this time, Becca stormed in. She claims she does not remember what she said, but I do. I won't go into detail because I don't even want to think about it.
Oh my
There
God.
were a lot of gross accusations thrown at me, and the things she said to Audrey were straight up evil. She went on for a while despite me telling her to stop, and only did when Audrey got up to leave. She was still distraught from before, and on top of Becca, she looked terrified. What should have been a way for her to calm down and receive support turned into a screaming attack from someone she doesn't even
Oh
know.
my gosh. So awful.
Yikes.
So awful.
The second Audrey was gone, Becca became very calm and started saying stuff like, babe, we need to talk. I didn't like this. Well, maybe we should have done that first.
Yeah.
I don't know. Crazy idea. Maybe we should have started with the talking and
yeah.
not even gone to any of the screaming.
That really sounds like such a way to reel it back in. That's that should have been.
Yeah, she's like screaming and she's like, babe,
we should talk.
we should talk.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
I didn't like
But
it.
instead she's like screaming all this horrific stuff
I get-
at the person she doesn't even know.
Also, she was saying like, we never had fights. We never had relationship problems.
Yeah.
I doubt
True.
that.
100%.
I agreed to speak somewhere else only because I thought I was going to get fired and I was so embarrassed. On the way there, I felt like I had a mid-quarter life crisis and I realized that this was just the breaking point. For the whole time we were together, she would obsess with cheating. She was always nervous I would cheat, or if a guy spoke to her, she assumed he was cheating on his girlfriend by talking to her. I don't know if it was projecting or some type of delusion, but I realized I could not keep doing this with her. On top of that, I was upset with what happened with Audrey. I don't know where she went after that, and I have no way of contacting her. At her apartment, I told her I couldn't do this anymore. I was done with the relationship and did not want her in my life anymore. I went into detail saying that what she's doing is not healthy, and for a while now, everything she does has been wearing me down. Still, she accused me of cheating and everything else she wrote. This is where I called her delusional and left. Anyways, I wanted to clear some stuff up for anyone interested. My friends plan on picking up some clothes that I left at her apartment for me. But at this point, I don't even want to bother. She can keep them or throw out whatever I have there. I think a lot of your comments got to her because when she texted me to check her email, she said that was her goodbye to our relationship and that she was done and would cooperate. I'm not sure I fully believe that, but it's time to move on from this, so I'm not gonna push it. Hopefully Audrey will be at the shelter next week and I can hopefully talk to her and apologize. And that's the end of that story, folks.
Wow.
Yikes. Yeah, your girlfriend or ex-girlfriend is little cray-cray.
Little cray
Little cray-cray. And,
Yeah, good thing she's out of there.
yeah.